All right, everybody. Welcome to our Sancho Live. Big topic, NJ. Do you have a feedback? Sancho Live. I can hear myself coming back. NJ, do you have a feedback? I'll mute you real quick. Yeah, that was you. All right. If you can unmute when you're done. Wait a minute. What is on my screen, guys? Oh, no. Am I getting taken over by Accountability for All right now? Because it looks like I'm getting taken over right now by Accountability for All. The piece of shit of the week, vote now, and the results will be released tomorrow. Masshole reports at 26%. Me, El Sancho, is at 8%. And Accountability for All is at 66%. Oh my God! Are you good, NJ?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Are you aware of this poll that was on Accountability for All's page?
I'm not subscribed to him. I watched one of his live streams a week or two ago and just didn't care for him. And what I don't care for, I don't give clicks.
I just don't understand how he's voted overwhelmingly the piece of shit of the week by his own channel.
Yeah, but maybe they misinterpreted his title.
No, it's either you're a piece of shit or you're not a piece of shit. It's pretty cut and paste with that, I think. Just posted the link. How do I get rid of this? I feel like I'm getting taken over right now. How do I get rid of this? All right. So the topic tonight is accountability. And are auditors untouchable or are they accountable? And I want to play something from Gary V, who is a whiz in pretty much everything. And the title is Accountability is Your Unlock to Happiness, NJ. And then I want to get your thoughts on it.
I get tens of thousands of DMs from kids that are in their 20s and 30s that have deep underlying resentment and depression because their parents are quietly paying for their lives. There's nothing more important than not allowing your parents to have any leverage. I mean it. Parents give money because they want control. So my number one advice to millennials in the way that you asked it is to not rely on parents. And then number two, to quantify time. We actually have our whole lives backwards. You should be doing the most high risk, high reward work from 20 to 30. The problem is that's when everybody expects you to grow up. I think, and grow up has transferred in our modern society to safe. I mean, I think that everybody under 30 should be tasting everything to get a better sense of what they're interested in. So I'd like you to call your parents and tell them if they are, or they may not be, I don't want any more money from you. And then I want you, and then I want you to go on a plane and go to Scotland for no reason. Listen, I get tens of thousands of DMs from kids that are in their 20s and 30s that have deep underlying resentment and depression because their parents are quietly paying for their lives. Which I then tell them, like, don't take the money, jerk. But there's almost nothing worse than a parent subsidizing secretly their child's grown-up life. It will eventually be exposed and talked about, and I can't wait because a lot of the underlying depression that is confusing people is actually coming from those sources. And it's even scarier when you dig underneath it, because what you start realizing is parents want to posture in front of their friends that little Sally and Johnny are doing well, and that's why they're riding a BMW or have a business when quietly they're the ones paying for it. If you don't stand on your own 2 feet and you're a grown-up, you will be sad.
There you go. NJ Diver, what do you think about that?
I don't agree totally with it, but mainly because I'm somewhat doing it.
Well, I think the big thing that he's checking is the accountability aspect of things, and our big topic tonight is accountability, and looking at where it could be used is a very important thing in my opinion.
Yeah, responsibility for your own actions, to be able to support yourself in life and not be dependent. That's independence is a key to being free and having your own life rather than being dependent on someone else for financial needs or anything else like that.
This is a better example for our topic tonight, I think.
We are all changing all the time. It is the very nature of existence. So why do some people seem to be changing more than others? Why are some people changing for the better while others are changing for the worse? And more importantly, how do we take control of the change in our life and decide where it goes? These are the questions that have plagued me since I was young, because I remember a time in my life where I was changing for the worse every day, and I felt like I had no control. I was a teenager, and I had started to become depressed for reasons I didn't understand. Started failing my classes, started smoking cigarettes. I quit my sports teams, fought with my friends and my family. And this was particularly distressing to my mom. She would come into my room every night and ask me questions like, why are you unhappy? How can I help? And mostly because I didn't know the answer, I would just brush her off. And then one night she came in and she asked me something. She said, Charlie, what is going to become of your life? And I will never forget what I said. I told her, I'm going to grow up and be a failure. And I cried harder than I had ever cried that night, because when I said it, I believed it. I believed that there was nothing I could do to change my future. My mom disagreed. And after exhausting a long list of options, she made the hard and drastic decision to send me across the country to a wilderness rehabilitation center in rural West Virginia on the side of a mountain in the Appalachian Mountains.
These aren't the best fucking.
It's a shame I don't have my full name in that.
These aren't the best examples. I just cut them off. They're not the best examples. Hold on, let me try to cut it off. So the big question and the big hold on.
You're cutting out.
My audio is messing up. So the big question we're having tonight is First Amendment auditors, holding them accountable, or are they untouchable because of the cause they're doing? Those two videos didn't hit the point as well as I wanted them to do. They're clickbait titles, if you fucking ask me. Talking about holding people accountable. Gary Vee didn't mention the word accountable once in that fucking video. Not calling you out or anything, Gary Vee, but holy shit. I didn't hear the word accountability once in that video. My fault for not doing better research and show prep. My bad. I'll own that shit. So let's talk about the title of the show. Let's talk about First Amendment auditors. NJ Diver, in your opinion, do you think First Amendment auditors, because of the work they do, they should be held accountable or untouchable for anything they do or say, and why?
Everyone needs to be held accountable for everything they do when it's not a benefit to society, in my view. I mean, if you're doing a criminal act, yeah, you need to be held accountable for it. If you're progressing society in some way, yeah, you should be given kudos for it. Unfortunately, in this day and age, there's more shade flying around than there are kudos.
So, for those who didn't watch the Carolina video this morning, because I debuted it at 8 in the morning, I'm going to play a little bit of it, and I'm going to want your thoughts, NJ, on it as well. We're going to kind of do a little playback. So, I went on a live stream last night that was hosted by CFW. I didn't think CFW did any live panels, but I heard my name was mentioned, so I decided to come on. As we know, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, on another channel, I did a story on this issue that I had with Carolina Fort Worth. It was posted 4 weeks ago. It essentially states that she was detained and got a ticket illegally, and Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire is the title. It's one of the first videos I saw of this individual. I did follow the Leon Valley situation. I have followed a couple things here and there, but something that I really deep kind of questioned was this video. And because nothing made sense in the video, and I'm going to play a little bit of it, and then we're going to kind of get my thoughts on it.
The high heaven, you're wearing a seatbelt, and I simply ask in the comments, could you provide video evidence if you wearing a seatbelt? What did you tell to me?
So that's the comment I did 3 weeks ago that started me to do a video. The video is now deleted on another channel. The person who owns that channel deleted it. It is what it is. Where is the video of you wearing a seatbelt and flipping the officer off? Was that recorded? I didn't think that was a disrespectful or a rude question. I thought that was a legitimate question, NJ Diver. Like, do you think that is as well or not?
Well, somebody makes a claim like that, yeah, they should back it up with some sort of empirical evidence.
Her response is, I just blocked you on this channel too. But she's referencing News Now Patrick's channel. I was trying to get News Now Patrick on because News Now Houston I got on. I want to get a News Now Patrick on. Could have went through News Now Houston, but I wanted to build a relationship on the live panel and try to get Patrick on one of my shows for that other channel. Long story short, I'm asking a couple questions, 3 questions, and essentially I got banned. The questions I was asking was about the financing part. People are questioning why Patrick's always asking for money. And I says, gas doesn't grow on trees. I do agree with that aspect because it doesn't. Gas does not grow on trees. She attacked me for that, one after me, and says, why do you care about money? Why do you care about financing? I didn't know her she didn't know me from a hole in the wall. And I'm essentially like, okay, we're having a healthy debate. Nope, blocked. Completely blocked for just having a conversation. So this is the second channel this person has blocked me on within a month, which I think is a little crazy.
No, bye. I'm banning you from this channel too. You ban anyone who asks questions. You ban anyone who questions.
I don't ban anyone. There's probably something like, why you told me to? Oh yeah, that's how I found out. You wanted me to email you the evidence that I had a seatbelt on. Why should I?
Wanted you to
Never
post it
ask
on
for an
YouTube.
email.
Why?
Because you're supposed to be accountable like you hold everyone else to be. And what's
Okay.
wrong with asking?
So
a simple
what if I
question?
don't have evidence that I wasn't wearing?
why-
You're a liar. I have it on film that I had my seatbelt on. You're.
I have it on film that I have my seatbelt on. NJ, did you hear that?
It's hard. She talks at a speed that's hard for me to catch.
She did say I have it on film that I was wearing a seatbelt. She just claimed last night that she doesn't have it on film.
Liar.
I have it on film. I even captioned it for you.
I post a video saying you were wearing a seatbelt when you don't have evidence of wearing a seatbelt.
Because the
Is
car
that a
wasn't.
good question?
The car wasn't going ding 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 ding. That happens when you have your seatbelt off, right?
And you also admitted on a live stream that you.
Keep in mind, she was pulled over.
Yeah, it also depends on the model of the car.
And she was pulled over as well. If the car is in movement, it does that. If the car is not in movement, I don't believe it does that.
I believe no, it's got to do with the car being in gear.
Right. If it's in park, like it was when that officer pulled her over, it's not going to ding, 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 ding.
You have it on your arm, not over your
I
shoulder.
took it under my arm like this. Yes, I do that.
So, me mentioning you not wearing the
You didn't
seatbelt,
know.
which
This is okay, go
prevents
ahead.
you from going through a windshield, you look at me as trolling you.
I looked at you because you wanted to have proof that I had that seatbelt on. Why can't you just take my word for it? Why do I have to?
Why can't you just take my word for it? Remember that. Why can't you just take my word for it? But I'm going to solicit donations to the public. I'm going to give you my PayPal. Like every nonprofit who gets donations, they have to be transparent to the T. They have to show and explain for everything. Every I dotted, every T crossed. This individual who solicits donations, like a lot of other auditors who solicit donations, get to take the money, but the public, the same public who could be donating that money to her, is never allowed to ask one question. You just have to believe every single thing she says.
Is that not the way of 90% of the e-beggars?
Which is the topic tonight, which is the issue.
To you. What if I'm a big giant subscriber and I was going to donate to you, and that video just bothered me?
I guess
And
I
I
guess
had a question.
Yes,
It was a
I guess you
simple-
should have asked the question a different way.
You
What if you're a big giant fucking troll douchebag? Now what?
Who the hell are you?
That's not me saying that.
Who the hell are you?
So, but why should I have to provide proof that I was wearing a seatbelt? Like,
But why are you holding everyone else accountable when the simple question's asked, and it wasn't a derogatory way?
holding who accountable? Holding who accountable? Who am I holding accountable?
Okay, listen. You just spent 2.5 hours like debunking things that people say. Don't you think those were one of the things that people say, and it would have been good to debunk that months ago?
The seatbelt.
Right. Debunk it because you won't address it, and now
She doesn't think the seatbelt's a big of a deal. She only yelled at an officer multiple times, swore at the officer, and flipped him off. Not that big of a deal.
The easiest way of telling that she's lying is just watch any of her
Body language.
No, just watch any of her videos where she's in a car. She's very rarely wearing a seatbelt.
Today she was live streaming it tonight. I don't think she was wearing a seatbelt. I didn't think I was a troll. But if you're going to yell at a police officer multiple times and flip him off and accuse him, the only reason why you stopped me is because you flipped me off, and not provide any evidence of anything, but monetize off that video, is scummy to me.
She's a habitual non-seatbelt wearer. She even admits it in some of her other videos.
now you're admitting to never having a video evidence that you wore a
The
seatbelt.
video evidence is right there on the video. The thing is not going ding, 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 ding.
Again, the car is parked. When the car is in park, it does not go ding, 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 ding. Keep in mind, when all this is going on, there are dozens of people calling me pig, calling me a piece of shit. There's a woman who's 71 years old rooting for her to boot me while this conversation's going on. It is the unhealthy of the unhealthiest environment there could be. There are so many sheep that are horny men that think they have a shot at fucking this woman, that they worship her, and they have posters of her all over the wall probably. And everything she wants to have happen at the whim happens because she is who she is.
They may as well buy a blow-up doll because she's had so much fucking work done.
I mean, it's just...
You banned me for asking a simple question.
Kick his
How
ass.
do you think we're going to get
If I
off?
say
when
the
that
light's
person-
red, if I tell my
Did you
ears
hear
the light's
Gary
red,
Busey? Did you hear Gary Busey say kick his ass? Literally, this woman who I didn't know who she was, which is why I'm calling her Gary Busey, Lady Busey, who rage quit after this, was rooting for her to kick my ass. This is the gang mentality we're having here. Why can't this individual and I have a one-on-one conversation without a 71-year-old woman jumping in? What is it with these senior citizens and me? Is there something about me that senior citizens just fucking despise?
Careful now, I can be defined as one.
You are? So is there something that could come off that seniors can not like about me? This woman is literally asking her to kick my ass.
Yeah, but Lady Di's a raving lunatic anyway, so
Okay.
she's a senior soft set. I mean,
That explains it.
Why should I have to prove the light's red?
Because you have to be held accountable. For
Why do I have to be
what
held
you do.
accountable? I mean,
So why do the police have to be held accountable? Why do public officials have to be
because
held
the
accountable?
police
If you're
are public officials and I'm not a public official.
Guy is a
All right?
cop.
And
I'm not a public figure, yet the night before somebody called her a public figure and they should sue Massel Report, and she agreed with all of that. So she was okay with being a public figure when it involves lawsuits, but she's not okay with being a public figure when it involves accountability.
for something as little as a seatbelt when the thing is
He's
going
making
ding, ding,
money
ding,
from
ding,
the
ding.
public that doesn't understand.
Something as little as a seatbelt, which to me means, and I'm not trying to play therapist here, to me that means flipping off an officer, saying he's a liar, pretty much saying on YouTube he's a liar. All of that isn't a big deal to her. So the scary question I have for everybody is, what is a big deal for her?
Probably nothing until she goes straight through the windscreen.
What's a big deal? Assaulting an officer? I mean, what? I think which verbal abuse is a big deal.
Make her a public
How much
figure
money
now.
do
So
you,
we can
how
hold
much money
public
do you think
figures
I
up.
make? How much money do you think I make?
I don't know, or do I care?
Then
You think
if
I
you
give
don't
a shit
care,
about your finances? I don't give a shit what you do with your money. I don't.
How-
So don't go on live streams telling people that I care about how much money you make and I wanted to know the secrets of what you do. You lied about me. And
Lied
then
about you.
somebody
Multiple
went on-
shows she
and
said that.
somebody named like Little PP or whatever went on a live stream the other day stating that I post family members on my YouTube channel, all this disgusting, defaming things. And then you're stating that I went on Massel Report and stated that you interrupt arrests.
you
But
said
for
that.
some
You
reason,
said I interrupted an arrest and that
you don't have the audio of that.
you went to go get the video and the video was taken down for some strange reason. You said that.
What video was taken down?
The video where I interrupted the arrest. You said you had the video, but someone took it down. You said that.
So
That I'm bad news, that I'm not good for the
listened to what
movement.
you said.
And I want to know.
listened to what you said because you sound very convincing when you said it. So I asked about a dozen people if I said that, and every one of them said you did not say that.
Okay,
And I
who
am
said it
telling
then?
you,
Did you notice how her head popped up when I said you sound very convincing when you said that? She loves the compliments, but when something doesn't go her way, her head goes down and she looks down the whole fucking time, as if she doesn't want to face any negativity. She wants to live in a bubble, and that bubble is all peace and love. You're the most beautiful thing in the world. You're a hero. You're an American hero. Oh, I love your bathing suit. That's all this is. That's all the world this person wants to live in is peace and love, which we all can agree that world doesn't exist. That is a world that gets accomplished when you take a lot of ayahuasca and then you develop that fantasy for a couple hours because you're under the influence of ayahuasca.
But that's the same with most frauditors. It's all about their 15 minutes of fame. You know, that's all this is.
It's not reality.
Yeah,
Who said
I
exactly.
did not say that.
Who
But
said
you
it?
want to throw
Did you rewind the tape and look at it? The
Yeah,
Massel
well,
you-
report?
now.
So she sends. Hold on, let me get the fucking email now because I'm taking the fucking gloves off now. I'm taking the gloves off. Feel free to talk, Marty, for a second because you guys just saw her say. You saw her say. Hold on a second. DFK. Hey, DFK, are you able to stick with the subject right now, my guy?
Just got on, Sancho.
All right, so just stick with the subject for a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
Hold on, because I need to show this is a very important part. So you guys saw her on her live stream essentially state, here we go. Let me unshare and share because you guys saw her say on that live stream that she said this multiple times that I've accused her of interrupting an arrest, which I think interrupting an arrest is a crime. That's not good. That's bad. So she finally decides. You guys can see that good?
No,
No, you can't see that too good?
real small.
Yeah, I don't know how to blow it up. We've had that issue before.
Just read it.
View Enter full screen. Oh, wait a minute. How about that? Is that better?
No, it's the same. Just
All right. Hold on.
just
I,
read it.
I, I can zoom in. I can zoom in. Let me zoom in. Now can you see it?
Caught her,
Not
caught her
That's better.
stacking another arrest 2 weeks ago, and I put on another
Yeah.
channel.
So
It got deleted.
So
There you go.
She 2:19 a.m. She emails me because she finally watches the video of me on Masso Report, and she says these are the two things that I did wrong. Remember, I said she interrupted an arrest. Number one was meth flew in her purse. Lie. I did say that. Number two, I caught her staging another arrest 2 weeks ago, and I put it on another channel, but it got deleted, so she is a problem. That never happened. Those words never happened. I emailed her back, and I stated, so where's the part of me like stating you interrupted an arrest? Yes, the state trooper video that we have discussed and I was lied to on. News New England deleted the video, and I stand by the fact that you are not telling the truth, and tonight only proved that. Sad duck face. So my question to her was, please tell me you didn't accuse me of accusing you of a crime, which interrupting an arrest clearly is, and not have any proof. And I prayed multiple times for proof of me saying that. And what a surprise. She doesn't have proof of me saying that.
Well, I was on a live panel with her a couple of weeks ago, Michael Malloy's, I believe it was.
Shout out to Michael Malloy.
And she started ripping into me within 3 seconds of coming on the panel. And I just threw the truth back at her. And as Colonel Jessup said, you can't handle the truth. And she couldn't. At the end of the panel, she ended up apologizing to me. A couple of days later, she's bad-mouthing me on some other live stream.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't bother getting into it because I don't really care.
I don't mean to be rude, but who the hell is Kate?
Um,
I'm seeing a lot of Kate references. Who the hell is Kate? I'm just confused by that. So
I don't know because I haven't seen the references, but
nobody
I know.
knows. Nobody knows. That's my point. Hold on.
No, I believe isn't she Mass Hole Report?
I don't have the foggiest idea.
Yeah,
Maybe
Kate's Vendel.
that's her version of Steve Lancaster for you.
I don't know.
Proof that I said that, and I would love to see
The
that.
proof is in the manhole video. I'm not going to take my time to go find it in the video. You do it.
So she took her time at 2 a.m. and proved that I never said what she's stating to her sheep followers that I said. I never accused her of interrupting a crime. Never did that. The only thing I mentioned was calling her out for this video that we're discussing. That I have the screenshot of me discussing it with her 3 weeks ago. That's all I mentioned. And I mentioned that the music she plays sounds like you're getting a blowjob in a Winnebago. But that's it.
You're gonna no, that's the
I told you where
problem.
it is. It's in the video. You just got to watch
It's in
it.
the video. It's in a 2-hour video that I've already seen twice. To see the thing.
Yeah.
That's where I
And I'm
didn't
not-
see it. You have to prove.
I saw it. You said, and she's bad news for the auditing community. What makes you the expert on it?
Prove to me that I ever said you interrupted an arrest, which is essentially
Somebody in my live stream will find it. I guarantee you.
He's an
okay,
expert.
good. Because I never said you committed a crime. Because that's a serious offense for me to tell.
Why would you go on
somebody
Mansfield Report when you don't even know me or watch my videos?
What's a Mansfield?
Why do I
Talk about
go on Mansfield? Because I did a video on you about 2 weeks ago about you not providing the video evidence
Hold on.
and banning me.
Yeah.
Banning anyone who talks
So,
negative.
but because
Side
I
noise.
didn't want to provide that, but the evidence is in the video that you watched.
Yeah.
You don't have
The evidence was in the video that you watched. Okay.
evidence. You just submitted it. It's not on video. Why are you
That's
saying
what
there's
it is.
evidence? You're not talking. That's the issue with you, CFW.
So
You
you
keep
said
back.
that I should have had. Like, I didn't turn the camera on until he stopped me. All right.
You're
The
gonna
car was
realize
running. The car
the
was
more
running.
subscribers you're getting, the more
Okay,
people are going
listen
to not
to
like.
me. Listen to me. Do you want to know why he really stopped me, or did you not do the research?
Brace yourselves, guys, for the real reason.
I watched the video
Okay, did you watch the video before that?
because you're claiming that you flipped them off. I asked for video. I asked for video evidence of you flipping them off and you wearing a
Okay,
seatbelt.
you didn't watch the video because I told you.
Even though I did a video on her 3 weeks ago, I didn't watch the video when the video was played the whole fucking time, and I did commentary, but it got deleted because it's anti-auditor. You can't be anti-auditor. If you're anti-auditor, you're going to get in the way of the movement.
Why he stopped me in the video, because not 30 minutes earlier I was at the jail. Okay, I was getting a jail roster, and I got in an argument with the jailer and a cop that was there. They never identified me there. They did not get my ID. They saw where I drove off in, but they didn't get my ID. The reason I got stopped by this trooper was so they could ID me, and I stated that in the video. So that's why they ID'd me.
And I stated that in the video. Let's go to the video, shall we?
Highway, and you saw me without. No, you know why you're stopping me? Your driver's license. You're stopping me because I flipped your ass off.
Different answers.
What is the number? There you go. You're pulling me over because I flipped your ass off. That's why. Insurance, please. You're pulling me over because I flipped you off. That's why. You're pulling me over because I flipped you off. I'm not answering any questions.
So that's why they ID'd me. They stopped me to ID me, not because of the seatbelt. So the story was not about the seatbelt. The story was about they wanted to ID who I was. Since I got in an argument at the jail.
Anything that makes you look better, CFW, we're going to go with. Whatever makes you look better. Like when that guy got arrested 24 hours after you said you were there, and the only reason why he got arrested was because you left, and shortly after he got arrested. You want people to think you're a hero. You want people to suck your toes. You want people to think you're God's greatest gift. You're a hero. Donate to me. It's all about the clicks and views. You continuously modify the narrative to make it benefit you every single time. You look at lies as mistakes when lies are lies. They're not mistakes when you repeatedly do it every single time.
You did see the police report for that, didn't you?
It was the next day on the 19th, and literally people had to convince her that it was the next day. She goes, oh no, everything happened on the 19th when her video clearly says the 18th. Come on, my guy. It clearly says the 18th, but she doesn't want to do the research. She wants everyone to believe her narrative. Her narrative is that she should run for fucking president.
30 minutes earlier. That's why. They put a bolo out on me about the appearance of my car. They didn't stop me for a seatbelt because the officer said he was across the highway. Did he not say he was across the highway? Now, when I flipped him off as I was going by, he didn't see that because a green truck went past me because they all flipped me back off. And I was actually going to follow that green truck and tell them, hey, I didn't mean to flip y'all off.
See how detailed the lies get? She's mentioning the green truck, which in the video you never hear about. In the video, which you're going to hear in a few seconds, is you saw me flip you off, but you didn't see me wear a seatbelt.
I heard that. I heard that too. She didn't say anything about the green truck. She wasn't flipping off the green truck. She was flipping off the cops.
Watch this. I'm going to play it right here.
You're just sad because I flipped you off. You couldn't see me flip you off, but you could see me without a seatbelt on. You're a liar.
There you go. So where's this green truck theory that she has last night? Interesting.
I thought she drove muscle cars.
Yeah.
Big liar.
He didn't stop me because of a seatbelt. He stopped me to ID me. Why would he travel across the highway to get me for a seatbelt? He wanted to ID me. And guess what? That was in the video.
You claimed on video it was because you flipped them off. I simply asked for evidence.
You didn't watch the video, did you?
You didn't watch the video, did you? When she mentions flipping him off 8 times in a 3-minute video? It was a short video. She mentions it over 8 times about flipping the officer off. But her response is, you didn't watch the video. You're dumber than me. I'm better than you. You didn't watch the video. What the fuck? Gets worse.
Because as he was writing the ticket, I said, he didn't see me maybe flip him off. I said, I bet you stopping me because of I just got out of the jail. You should have watched the video.
You should have watched the video.
You're a liar because I had my seatbelt on. You're mad because I flipped you off. That's why you're mad, because I flipped you off. Right? Tell me the real reason. Why don't you tell me the real reason why you pulled me over, Bridgman? You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. A liar. Liar. Here you go. You know what? Write me a ticket for no insurance. I'm not looking for it.
Would you grab the insurance for me?
Mm-mm.
You're required to give me the insurance.
There you go.
I don't like touching people's personal.
I don't have my insurance. Write me a ticket for it.
Would you just get the insurance out for me?
Write me a ticket for it. I don't have it in there.
To me, I feel like you're.
So she gave the ID up with no issue, but the insurance was the issue. But didn't she not argue giving the ID up at all? You just saw her give the ID up with no fight. But according to her narrative last night, it was all about IDing her because they wanted to identify her because she was causing an issue at the jail.
You're questioning my integrity.
Name an example of a personal detail, please.
Name an example of what?
Name an example of exactly what you're talking about that I was asking you.
You asked, okay, the video evidence, I had a video about being stopped for a seatbelt. You know that the officer said he was across the highway when I drove by, like he could really see me without a seatbelt or flipping him off. He said he didn't see me flipping him off, but if you would have watched the video, you would have found out that the reason why he really stopped me wasn't because of a seatbelt, wasn't because I flipped him off, but because I had just done an audit in the jail and they wanted to ID me. Then
so
you
that's a personal detail?
That's
how is that personal at all?
You would have known that you wouldn't have to ask about the seatbelt. You didn't watch the whole video. You even said
you're a liar. You're just mad because I flipped you off. Fuck the police, Bridgman. Fuck you. Fuck you. Look, there you go. That's why you pulled me over. Pulled me over because I was flipping you off. You're a liar.
Girl, I know you flipping.
There you go. I don't want to get copyright shit again by playing the whole song. Thoughts, everybody? Don't be shy now. Someone jump in. DFK.
False narratives do not make the story true. First and foremost. And it seems like her story is just like all over the place.
Yeah, she's too busy trying to make a story up. I mean, oh, it's because I flipped you off. Oh, it's because it's a seatbelt. Oh, it's because I was at the jail. Why would the jail call the state troopers to pull her over? I mean, seriously, she's not that much of a, it's not worth the time. It's just not worth their time.
Repeatedly saying that you pulled me over because I flipped you off. Well, I wasn't flipping you off. I was flipping off a green truck later. It's like, well, wait a minute now. Come on. Like, where the hell are you going with this? What is your end result? What is the end game?
Yeah, she's a victim. She's always a victim. She wants you to focus on a different story than what should be focused on. Flat out. Here's a question. Do you think the cop actually did pull her over because of the seatbelt? Guys?
Well, I didn't see that part to know whether or not she actually had the seatbelt on, but I know that they are strictly enforcing seatbelt laws, and that's a reason that they will pull you over if they notice you're not wearing one.
Yeah, seatbelts are a big thing. And she's got a history of not wearing it. She admits it. I mean, like I said, you go back to any of the videos and watch her driving, and you'll see she's not wearing a seatbelt. She even brags about it.
Kiss ass or get blocked. Well, I don't play that way. What's that about?
That's what CFW does. That's what another auditor does. If you do not kiss their ass, you get blocked. You're a problem.
Oh, kind of like that other panel where they delete every message, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
now I got to tell you, Sancho, I've never heard you say this, but I've heard so many others say this. I'm not going to mention any names, but they all say like, share, and subscribe. Well, I've already subscribed, so I got that part handled. I already liked the video, so I got that part handled. And as far as the share goes, instead of hitting the share button, I hit the little button beside the YouTube feed to where it'll share to a TV. Well, it found one, but mine's not on, so it got shared to somebody. Basically forced them to watch whether they wanted to or not.
Well, hello, DFK's neighbor. Hopefully, DFK is a model neighbor. Doesn't make weird the monkey noises in the middle of the night. Hopefully, you're still watching and listening to the show tonight. Hopefully, DFK cooks and brings brownies over and mows the lawn and the shovels in a snowstorm. And
the brownies are going to be Little Debbie. Sorry.
Hey, whatever works. Hey, I would appreciate like Little Debbie's randomly at my doorstep. Kidding me? That's awesome. That's awesome.
I figure that shared to a TV is a whole lot better than sharing on the computer.
So I invited CFW on. I emailed her the link. So we'll see if she pops up. I heard she's on another panel as we speak, coincidentally. The big thing is when I went on there, it was 3-on-1. And I didn't care. I didn't care that I was by myself. I'm a big boy. I can defend myself.
Well, yeah, there was the other panel that you were on there against 4 others too. So
yeah, I don't really care if I'm outnumbered. I don't care because I can stand on my own. I'm a big boy. And the insults were being hurled like crazy. And it was disappointing to me that the insults were being hurled. It's one of those things where let's have a one-on-one conversation. Let's talk like adults. And let's try to figure out why you do what you do. And that just didn't fly. That just didn't happen. That just didn't fly. The next video I'm going to play, because people have been requesting it. I don't know if DFK's already seen this newest video, the Lady Busey video.
Yeah, I saw that one before I got on here.
So here we go. I'm going to play it now. So this is one of those bully mentalities. You've already seen this woman multiple times tell CFW to kick my ass, which is she's 71 years old. Lady Diana is her name, apparently. I'm being told. And let me guys show you what the fuck happened.
In my business, I really don't like the female bashing. I mean, I see an awful lot of that.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
She discussed before this about tits. She goes, why is it okay for people to discuss Carolina's tits but not Kate's tits? And I says, well, you must not be familiar with the amount of people who discuss Kate's tits. There are memes out there of Kate's tits. If you ever go to like Discord, NJ, you are on Discord, Morky, you as well. It is littered with Kate's tits. Absolutely littered. But I told the both of them, I didn't care about either of their tits. I was more focused on Josh Abrams' tits. I would suck on those tits beyond belief. You got Hershey Sunday, you got peanut butter Sunday. You got a lot of options for every different night. And I think it's appealing. No offense to anyone else's tits. I just got my eye on those big tits.
Well, he's actually got better tits than quite a few women.
Yeah, I'm not comparing any tits to that. But I just think that for them to say that Kate's tits is not discussed, you clearly don't go on Discord. I'll leave it at that.
At least Kate's
Go ahead.
tartars are real and CFWs are plastic.
Right. I don't know whose is what. I don't know how to evaluate vision-wise without touching. So I'm just going to leave that alone. I don't know if that's a real dog or a fake dog. It looks like a real dog, but you just never know until you touch the dog. Right?
No, she's admitted she's had work. CFW.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're both real, Sancho.
They're both real. See now we know they're both real.
Well, no, I'm talking about the 2 dogs. They're both real.
You didn't get my joke. You had 2 dogs. Now you said they're both real. I tricked you into saying they're both real. Watch the video.
And you can't hide behind being protection.
But not you, right? Not you.
But not what?
You don't have.
I'm not a female. I'm a male. I'm a male.
You want you could misspeak or you could make an error. Everybody else is a goddamn liar, right?
I can't understand you guys. Yeah. How did I say I wasn't? How did I say I lied on something?
You're an idiot.
This is the problem when you open.
You're a
You're not backing up what you say, so you don't come
You're
up
an
as.
ex-cop and a piece of shit and an idiot. That's what you are.
She's 71 years old talking like that.
Oh, Grandma Doubtfire.
All right, let's not.
Are you going to provide an example to back up what you're saying, or is it verbal diarrhea?
Let's not call it the name. You know, the one thing I will say.
Why is it okay for somebody to call me a stupid idiot, but it's not okay for me to say verbal diarrhea? What's the difference between being called a stupid idiot and asking this person who has no idea who the hell I am? I didn't even know if it was a male or a female up until a few minutes ago. Is deciding to form an opinion against me and call me a stupid idiot for what?
You are stupid.
Accusing me of lying for what?
You are a stupid idiot. It's quite obvious.
Because of why?
Who else can figure that out, which leaves you out.
Because of why? Because of why?
All I got to do is listen to your mouth.
Yo, that's a great example. Can you
listen to your mouth when all I've done is ask legitimate questions that a follower or a sheep like this woman who is 71 years old is going to have a heart attack defending someone who probably at the end of the day doesn't really give that much shit about you, because the second you start questioning this person, you're fucking ex-nayed. Remember that.
give me an example, or have you been falling asleep half the time?
I've already given you an example that you don't want to accept.
Have you fell asleep during half the conversation or no?
Another example.
Okay, so you haven't provided one example.
I already have.
Are you on like Jerry Call or something?
I already have.
Okay, so your example is
liar, but you're able to misspeak.
your example is me speaking. I'm an idiot because I speak.
You know what? I'm done talking this stupid ass.
So the only reason why she got on the panel was to go at me, was to motivate CFW to boot me, was to pretty much gang up. But when it's one-on-one, she wants to get the fuck out of here. She wants to fucking feet don't fail me now because she can't take the same shit she's dishing out.
You sound like an idiot. You're not providing any proof of what you're saying.
You're stupid ass.
Because
stupid ass.
Because of why, you dumbass. I can say you're a dumbass because you're providing no proof of why.
Ass.
I can call you a dumbass because you're calling things without providing proof. The other person below it, but nothing.
Time out.
Philadelphia.
All right.
You don't see a difference in tone between you and this old woman?
Old woman, listen. I didn't know her name. She had a nameless thing. She is an old woman. She's 71 years old. She wants everybody to feel bad for her because she's an old woman, but when somebody says that she's an old woman, watch the fucking reaction that I got.
Thank you.
Yeah, see, I saw that part and I couldn't understand what was
Number
going
one,
on.
there's more tone between you and this old woman.
I slowed it down, that's why. You motherfucker. You motherfucker. Imagine what her neighbors. This old woman. Look at her. Look how demented she is coming towards the camera. Oh my god. This is a serial killer.
You motherfucker. This old
That's
woman.
an angry woman up there.
You fucking piece of shit. This old woman.
I thought you were leaving.
I'm worthless.
I thought you were leaving.
I'm worthless, which she's called me a piece of shit 4 times. Which when you call someone a piece of shit, that person might feel worthless because a piece of shit is worthless. I say old woman, and she immediately is going to go to the worthless pity card because she's 71 years old.
Because I'm old. I don't have 71 years under my belt. You bastard don't have shit.
You have no idea who I am and think for genius
Kiss
on
my
me.
ass.
I thought you were Nick Nolte. I don't even know who you are.
Please settle down. Thank you. Thank you.
Motherfucker. And then she rage quits after that. So, yeah. What's everyone else?
I that's another one I've been on a panel with. I treated her with the respect that she deserved at the time. But I have since seen her on a couple of others, and as far as I'm concerned, people of that type that can't back themselves up with what with what they have said in their own opinion about someone else, that's fine. You can have your opinion, and in this country, you're allowed to express it. But when it gets to the point of defamation, I disassociate myself. I just say, okay, you have a good day, and I don't go back. And I haven't been back on, what is it? Jeff, the auditor, is here or something. I haven't been back on his panel in, a month or more.
Which one?
It's
Sorry,
not worth my
I
time.
just read the comment from Rada.
This one?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I found humor in that. Sorry. Let me mute myself so you don't have to.
No, please. Let it out. Hello, Taco Josh.
Hey, how's it going?
What's your thoughts on what just transpired with those two videos?
Man, she's crazy. I've seen her on Emo's live streams, and half the time she's asleep, which doesn't surprise me. And the other time she's like trying to like sext with Emo, which is just makes me want to puke.
Are you serious?
Yes, she like tries to get him like to get naked and stuff. It's gross.
Jesus, you gotta be fucking desperate.
Should I be afraid for my life right now?
You might be. It's just disturbing.
What did I get myself into?
You don't want to know.
Oh my god. People on Discord have warned me and I haven't listened, and I should have listened. What the fuck did I get myself into?
But her charging it like at the end like that, it reminded me of a coworker I had. She was a like 7'6" transvestite and I pissed it off one time, and it came running at me, and it was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen.
No, the scariest thing you've ever seen is the thought of this woman naked.
Well, that's true too.
You say that was the scariest thing. You just talked about this 71-year-old woman sexting and trying to get Emo naked, and then you proceed to say something else is the scariest thing you've ever seen. Are you fucking serious? Are you for real, my guy?
They're both disturbing.
Jesus. DFK, help me out, my brother. Oh. I can't get it out of my head.
The worst part was Emo started unzipping his pants. I immediately turned off the stream.
Oh my god, it's getting worse. Like all I'm picturing is like old Flab and just hairy as hairy can be, and I'll leave it at that. Oh my god.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild.
What the fuck is that? Thank God.
Trying to help you out, Sancho. I was trying to get your mind elsewhere.
That was you.
Half of me wanted to stay watching to see if I could see the diaper, but then I was like, dear God, no.
Why the fuck would you ask that question? This is one of my mods. This is one of my mods asking this fucking question. I'm in fucking so much trouble. Oh man, I'm in trouble. Good Lord, good Lord is beyond, and Lord is in caps, and it needs to be in bigger caps than that after what I just saw. You just threw up. I just threw up, and then one of my mods is asking for pictures.
Oh God.
How do I demod him right now? This is disgusting. Oh, I'm kidding. I'm not going to demod him. He's good at a mod, but man, that visual is stuck in my brain. I gotta put my fan on. All right, guys.
To be fair, I'm on pain pills right now, so.
Oh yeah, that's an excuse for someone else as well.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you can inflict pain on the rest of us, mate.
Oh my god. Oh man. Oh, DFK, take the wheel, my guy.
I got nothing, Sancho.
I never thought I'd be saying those words in my life. DFK, take the wheel, but Jesus, I think we're at that point. You're in charge, DFK. What do you got on your mind?
Today was kind of a rough day. Went to my mom's house to get stuff taken care of.
Yeah.
And it really hit me when loaded up her chair to take to the dump.
Yeah.
It's like her chair was not supposed to go to the dump. It was supposed to come to my house. So that got me welled up.
Oh.
That was hard.
Thank you. I was going to say thank you for this reality check, but I don't know if that'd be rude saying that. Man.
Coming from you, Sancho, it would not be rude. I know you got my back. You're in my corner, so from you, it's not rude.
Yeah, I owed you a call. I think I called you yesterday, but I didn't call you today.
Yeah, you did call yesterday when I was on my way to work, and I was not alone in the car, and it was coming through the Bluetooth, so it just it was not a free talk time for me.
So let's talk about a funny subject. So I was on Peachy Rider's stream tonight, and we were joined by surprise, News New England. And the narrative from News New England is because he deleted those 2 videos, everything should be dropped dead and never brought up again. And I didn't agree with that narrative at all, and I'll play a little bit of the conversation.
He's playing the victim and doesn't want to be held responsible for what he says. Privately, he wants to move on. Just yesterday, he does a video on me claiming that I called CFW a bitch, which I never did. I was on his show that night. Never did I call her a bitch. But Brian had the obsession with me.
He just told you that 8 hours after that happened, I sent him an email saying, hey, we can both work together.
He got a cease and desist before he got that email. Before an email was sent, he got a cease and desist. Then he coincidentally, after the cease and desist, he sends an email asking for peace and love. So is that kind of a coincidence in anyone's opinion? That he gets a legal letter to pretty much tell him to shut the fuck up. He's defaming someone without any proof. And then all of a sudden he wants to make up and pretend like nothing's ever wrong. You think that's a little intentional? I do.
Just a wee bit.
Just a little bit intentional. But he wants to go on Peachy Rider's stream and he wants to get the narrative out there that he felt bad about what he said. And because that he felt bad about what he said, he essentially wants to let everybody think that he deleted that video on his own merit. He wants everyone to think that he deleted that video because that's what the right thing to do was. So we're going to show the truth here. So a cease and desist was sent 5:53, which was 10 days ago. Is everyone okay seeing this? It's zoomed in very well, so you guys should be able to see it. So any further action will result in deeper legal and financial issues. So he responds, I take you for an intelligent man. Do you really think I was stupid enough to sign something stating I did anything wrong? This is the email he wants Peachy Rider to think. If you want an agreement that nor you or I will no longer speak of the other in a negative way, I can't agree. But your signature will have to be on the same letter admitting to the same. I have to admit, the guy who was called a predator, the guy who was challenged to go on his panel and show his face and give him my information, now has to put pen to paper. Then he goes, I don't know why this has come to the point it came to. I had the utmost respect for you until you launched the attack on me. I even made several attempts that I wished you luck in your new channel when I saw that you had created it. But your attacks on me were uncalled for. That is another victim mentality. That is another person who thinks he's untouchable and he's not accountable. But he grabs a camera and he points a camera at these police officers and says, well, you have to be held accountable because you're a public figure. He's got his PayPal up, consistently asking for the public to donate. Whether they're donating $1 or $1,000, the public has every right to ask you questions. And that is another issue we're having with this individual. Clearly shows that a cease and desist because he responded, 5:53. He responds at 6:07. That's how fast he responded. So I essentially go and tell him, failure to comply and sign will result in a heftier lawsuit for the damage already done and documented. You have no choice. It's already done and documented. He deletes the videos thinking it's not going to be documented anymore. That's the reason he deleted those videos. Not because it was the right thing to do. Not because he felt bad. No. So then he sends a message. There's no reason our two channels can't flourish side by side. I think in the billions of people that are in the world, we can both find our own subscribers. So I go, Mr. Sessions, the damage you have caused to a brand new YouTube channel is beyond unrepairable. You've been irreparable. You have been irreparable harm, and legal counsel has been sought and already required. Therefore, legal ramifications will continue. And you're refusing to take accountability. It's a big word right there. Accountability for your actions will be highlighted in court documents. Your attempt to privatize these videos and avoid legal recourse has left me with no other choice. Flat out.
Not to be like the grammar police.
I know I fucked
but
up.
I believe the correct spelling or the correct word is irreparable.
Right, I know that.
As opposed to unrepairable.
I know that now. I know that.
Sorry.
Now. So then
I don't want to be the grammar police.
I will not be responding per advice of counsel. And he's done nothing but open his mouth. Besides, when the Scam Destroyer shows up. Whenever Shiva shows up, feet don't fail me now. That dude bolts faster than you can bolt. When the Shiva shows up, he bolts beyond belief. Shiva's not around. Look how vocal he
The world
is.
is big enough that we can both get our own subs and everything.
And you didn't follow your advice. That night you bashed.
So don't tell me I'm not trying to move on. Don't try to tell me that. Because
Right.
I was the one who approached him and I gave him you can't do nothing without talking over you. He's so used to walking over everybody that if he doesn't walk,
There's the victim mentality again. It's always about me being the problem. He's never a problem. Never a problem. You're always the problem.
over everybody, he can't defend himself.
You know
So
what,
all I'm
though? At one
saying
point, hold on, though. At one point, you liked that trait about him because he was assertive and he ran your panels, News New England. So at one point,
I never ran his panel. When I had an administrative control of his panel, when he gets hospitalized, who ran his panel when he was in the hospital? Me.
Yeah. Duh.
So he's claiming that I never had access to, I never ran any of his panels. He wants you to believe whatever narrative he pulls out of his ass, a la Josh Abrams, a la CFW. There's a line of these people that can say whatever the fuck they want when there's proof on the page, Sancho Takeover, when he's nowhere to be found. I'm the only one on the panel by myself when I start the show. How did I get access to that? How did I get access to hosting a show on someone's channel? He made me the manager on that page. I was the manager on that page even after he called me a pedophile. I didn't delete any videos. I'm fucking proud of myself for not doing that. I could have shut his whole channel down if I wanted to, but I didn't do that. Let's continue.
He ran some shows. He
did
3
3 shows on my channel.
All right.
It's 3 shows. So he says that I never ran a show, and now he's admitting that I did 3 shows.
Well, nevertheless.
3 shows.
Nevertheless, you gave. Hold on, Brian. Did you?
Hold on, this is important. I was a YouTube administrator on his page when he called me a child predator, and I didn't do any damage to his page. So let's not talk about you're not continually running your mouth about me, which you're consistently doing every single day, despite what your email said you wanted to do. You're not telling the truth.
Like I said, I'm the one who approached him and said, hey, we can both work side by side.
He's the one who approached me. Now, everyone on this panel, you guys seen the emails. Was he the one who approached me? Anybody?
I'd say your letter approached him.
I'd say that too. What about you guys?
Well, only letter I saw was about the cease and desist.
That's the letter that was first contact, and he responded to that letter. But he wants everyone to think that he reached out to me first and wanted to build bridges. It's a lie. It's a pathological lie. And it needs to fucking stop. And that's the problem with enabling this kind of behavior and not calling out or shining a light on this fucking behavior.
Sign, and I even took down the statement, and I have done everything to move forward.
I have done everything to move forward. DFK, you've been on that panel a couple times ever since the breakup. Has he ever mentioned me on that show ever since this happened?
Ever since which point?
Ever since the past week or so? 10 days ago?
Time is not a friend of mine. I believe the last time I actually know for a fact that you were mentioned is when the cease and desist, what caused a cease and desist order.
Well, yesterday there's a 15-minute video on his page where he claims that I called CFW a bitch, which I never did, from his hospital bed.
I was working yesterday, so
yesterday there's also he got porn bombed apparently, and he blamed me for porn bombing him. But he wants everyone to think that he's done nothing
well,
wrong.
Sancho, quit showing your wiener.
I need to work on that.
Fuck, you make guys jealous when you do that shit.
Because to him, it's worth more to him to use it as a oh poor me, please come sub me.
He's trying to play the victim here. He's trying to make you think that he's the victim for calling me a predator, making a fabricated list, alluding that I'm a predator, alluding that the only reason why I interview predator hunters is to learn how to not get caught. I lure children into my lair, but this is another deflector. Learn how to not
Please
get
come,
caught.
and that's exactly what he's been doing.
You are still talking. There's a video yesterday talking about it. You are obsessed with me. You have an unhealthy, salty obsession with me.
Hey guys, hey Sancho.
Because I defend myself. What you said the day before.
Hold on, guys, hold on. Let me. I need to address Pookie real quick. Pookie, I do not. I'm not asking.
As he jumps in.
Are y'all about done with this?
That's the same thing. It's the same thing that you're talking about. The only difference is he's your friend, and SNS isn't.
See how he's trying to stir shit up about identity and showing my faces. When we all know I played the video, it's on my channel. I showed him my face to get on. DFK knows he's been on there. In order to get on for the first time, you have to show your face. I showed him my face. I played the video. It's on my channel.
Well, yeah, my friend. I met SNS Brian.
Actually, the first time I got on there, I did not have to show my face. But after he got porn bombed twice in one stream, then it became mandatory to show a face.
Exactly, and that's why I had to show my face because I came on after the porn bombs.
Then you're a fucking coward.
I came on after that.
I still want that answer.
Hold on.
So
he is the one who does not want to move on because to him it's too valuable as a crybaby.
He thinks I'm hanging on to his clout. When there's multiple videos on my channel, I'm going to show it next, that have nothing to do with him. But there's a 15-minute video from his hospital bed dedicated to me calling CFW a bitch. I'd never do that. I don't know why anyone would follow anybody who would do that. Are you
okay, Sancho? Well, while you're paused, while you got the video paused right now, I'm going to continue watching on my phone. I'm actually on the panel on my laptop, but I'm going to step outside and smoke because my sister's here now and she can't deal with the smoke in the house.
Okay.
I'm going to step outside and smoke. I'll be listening on my phone, but I will mute my mic. If somebody wants to get up on panel while I'm gone, you can go ahead and drop me to the back, and I'll be okay with that.
All right.
That he gets subs out of, that he gets the ability to be able to get people to feel sorry for him, that he gets views out of. Let him shut up. Let him shut up. I would have not asked to move on. Let him shut up for a
I would not have asked to move on. The only reason why you asked to move on is because you got a cease and desist letter 15 minutes prior. That is the only reason why you asked to move on, but you still want the narrative out there, especially to Mike Taylor, who is on his show 24/7 as one of his mods, that he was the better man who contacted me first.
month and see how hard it is. Yeah, I guarantee you he won't do it because he can't get subs that way. The only way he can.
He thinks he's relevant with his 847, 65, 900 subs. He thinks he's Logan fucking Paul. He thinks he's God's greatest gift to creation. Who does that also sound like?
Can get subs is to damn me. The only way he can get views is to damn me. Look at his videos. He's got nothing for videos. He's got his last videos. He hasn't even broke 300 out of them. But look at the videos where he's damning me. He makes more on those than he does anything else.
All right, so I make more on those than I do anything else. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to share this because this is very, very important. So these are my YouTube videos, guys. Can anyone see the YouTube videos? So these are all the videos on YouTube that, my channel. Let me go to my channel. So these are my channels. So he is claiming that the only thing that got more than 300 views is always on him. So open panel Wednesday, hop on, was not about him. DFK, you were there. 369 views. That's more than 300. Sancho breaking down Predator Group, 663 views. Let's talk about Shane Coyle, 736 views. Let's talk about CC Unit, 1,000.3, over 1,000 views. Hillbilly Hoedown's over 300 views. Predator Pouches is 430 views. Late Night with Sancho's 274 views. He's bashing this video because it has 191 views in 2 days. So what? I'm a young channel. This has 1.3 thousand views on it. So News New England again lied. Lied. He wants everyone to think that he's the biggest attraction and the biggest thing going when he's absolutely fucking irrelevant.
Hey Sancho, his streams are so boring to begin with, and I've seen his streams and they have like 4 people on them. Yeah, like watching, like big deal.
He needs
the only reason right now they're doing anything is because he has Abrams on it running the thing,
promoting it. That's why there's more people listening, because he has 46,000 people advertising it. That's never happened before until when I host shows. Now it's happening.
Here, he's only got 45 on now.
Coincidence? 45,000? Come on. So we already know News New England's lying.
Without me, he is nothing.
Without me, he is nothing. Yet, as of 2 weeks ago, the top 7 videos on his YouTube page, and I think I still have the screenshot. I have to search for it. The top 7 videos on his YouTube page were rioting narratives. Rioting mirrors from Minneapolis and Peachy Riders. Her live stream. Those were the top 7 videos this guy has. Top 7. Are you fucking kidding me?
Without
Sanchez, you can rag on me, Sanchez. Put my name on the title.
All of his friggin' videos.
Sanchez, hold on. Put my name on your title. I guarantee you, you'll have a bunch of
videos. He does not break 300.
Not one of my videos do I break 300. Is that true, guys?
Clearly
it's a lie. Clearly it's a lie. But he wants everyone to think Mike Taylor is smiling from ear to ear like it's the greatest thing on earth. He's getting hard even hearing about it because he's eating the bullshit that Brian is feeding everybody.
Look at him. Look
Who
at his
cares,
last
man?
10
He's
videos.
all about clicks and views. Without Josh, you wouldn't have
Not
any clicks and
clicks
views.
and
What did he
views.
say?
It's not clicks
Who are
and
you to
views.
tell him?
It's all
just-
about you using
you
me
teaching
as
up.
your content.
I use him for content. When all I am doing is pointing out how much of a vile piece of shit he is. And he deems that as me using him for content. I don't think shining a light on a piece of shit who accused somebody who he has no idea who he is, knows nothing about him, for being a child molester because he left his channel.
You can't
You don't
live
think you-
without me as your content. That's
So-
the hard truth, asshole. Without me,
So
you're
every original content
you had
done.
nothing. Before you came to me,
Okay, hold
you
on,
were
hold
nothing.
on.
Before you came to me, you were, I mean, this guy thinks he owns me. This guy thinks he's my dad. This guy thinks I should give him child support. What kind of accountability does Brian Sessions have, if anything, guys?
None.
I was watching one of his late night streams the other night, and he had 4 people on it. So he's got, without Abrams, he's got nothing.
That's the issue, is you have to look at it from, there's a reason why Abrams is pushing as hard as he is. But a poll that just happened today on Josh Abrams' channel that was up for about a day or two, the piece of shit of the week, vote now, and the results will be released tomorrow, which is the show that's on right now. Masshole Report gets 26%. Little Sad Al Sancho gets 8%. And Accountability for All gets 66%. I don't think Josh expected this poll to go this way.
Oh, Josh will spin it and say, "Oh well, you know, everybody else talks shit about me" or something like that.
Oh, it's endearing. You called me a piece of shit of the week. It's endearing. No, I think
Right.
people think you're a piece of shit.
Everybody thinks he's a piece of shit. I mean, the Predator thing came from Josh. You know that, don't you?
Just like karaoke came from me and the prank calls came from me, and they do that consistently now.
They were doing it today.
But that's one of the list of things of being a predator. You know, the big thing that was on that panel is everybody in the chat was grilling him about where he got this list. And he says he found a list, and then he says he came up with the list. And it was just, it's one of those things that, like, pieces of shit like that need to get a flashlight shined on them because it's unacceptable and it's wrong. And it can lead to something very bad, suicide, whatever. And you just don't do that to somebody, especially somebody you have no idea who they are. And when I have a News Now Houston on for over an hour, his mouth shut. Love the interview that I did with him. A couple weeks later, I'm a predator now.
Yeah, but the Predator thing is something that Josh came up with. I can tell you that much now.
Josh did not want me going after him because he threw a frail old man who has been in the hospital for 4 days in front of me, thinking that's going to be effective, but it's not going to be effective. Josh has always been the target. This has just been a fucking blip in the radar. I thought he was against prank calls as well, but coincidentally, you know, he may have been asking the same people that I was asking for phone numbers, and he also prank called Rice Krispie, the same person I prank called, and I got my show shut down temporarily because of that. Ironic, don't you think?
Mm.
That is an incorrection. He was not charged with rape. I will not highlight that comment because it's factually incorrect. He was not charged with rape. So
Domestic violence.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't be on a pedestal and talk about truth, and throw stuff out like that because that's not true.
Okay. Been listening. So one says this, one says that, one says this is okay, one says it's not. One does it, the other one follows. So who's the leader, who's the follower here? I'm getting kind of lost as to who'd be nothing without who.
He thinks I'm nothing without him.
Well, that's what he said, but he also was against prank calls. Well, now he's doing them, and he did that after you. So who is nothing without who's searching for ideas to try and build a following. I think it becomes kind of clear as to who's leading who and who is nothing without who. You can say what you want, but actions speak different words.
I'm getting a following quicker than he got a following, and it's burning him inside.
But you're nothing without him, so why is he following what you're doing?
Why was he on? See, that's the thing. He did a 15-minute video about me calling CFW a bitch. Yet he doesn't tell anybody that he jumped on the Michael Malloy show in the chat and immediately goes, "Oh, you're against auditors, egging me on." Literally egging me on. Doesn't tell anyone that. Doesn't tell anyone the fact that I literally did not call CFW a bitch. But he wants everyone to think that I called her a bitch. And he dedicates 15 minutes in his hospital bed when he should be resting and getting better. He spends 15 minutes of his life bashing me, accusing me of calling somebody a bitch without providing any proof of it, which he still hasn't provided. That's okay. But he goes on Peachy Rider's thing and says, "I don't talk about you anymore. I moved on." Go to his channel. It's still up. Because he wants everyone to think that I called CFW a bitch.
It's because he has nothing better to do with his life.
But I need him. I'm relying dependent on him. But the first second I do something that's not about him and interview a predator group, he calls me a predator and says I'm doing it for research. He made it about him. He makes it about him. Everything I do, he wants it to be about him.
I believe that's called narcissism.
I'm going to be interviewing a very well-known porn star. He's going to find a way to make it about him.
Who's the porn star?
Can't tell you. It's a secret.
Can't tell you. It's a male porn star, so I don't know if it's going to interest you.
He's definitely getting
John Holmes?
No, he's
Is that
getting
his name?
No.
The old retired one?
His last name is Everhard. Eric Everhard. I'm close to finalizing it, and I'm excited about it too.
No idea who that is.
Oh wow! If you look him up, he slept with a few thousand women.
Yeah, that's what.
Don't they all? If they're any good.
So CFW emails me to try to defend herself, but hops on that other stream and hides from me. Does that make any sense?
Which stream?
Because when she was in Malloy's chat, immediately Brian wants to get CFW on his stream and I love you, come on my stream, and sure enough she's on the chat now because he keeps fucking just like the Steve Lancaster video. The second S&S goes live, Brian hops in the chat, hops in the StreamYard. Oh, El Sancho, Steve Lancaster. Mind your motherfucking business. And then the CFW thing. He jumps in and throws his fucking 2 cents in with that. But he doesn't mention me. He doesn't talk about me. He's not obsessed with me. Come on, guys.
I'm sorry, that Steve Lancaster was some funny shit. Oh my God. That was freaking hilarious.
And I think SNS and I were, he didn't know who the hell I was. Still doesn't know who I am.
Oh no, he thinks you're Bucket Boy.
Right.
He firmly believes you're Bucket Boy.
You got to realize, guys like that, this shit falls off their chest like it never even happened. They don't give a shit about it. But the reason why Brian pops up to Peachy Rider stream tonight was because he wanted to expose me for the SNS thing and claims that I bullied SNS and I'm a mean bully. But the second I bring up questions about him bullying me, I'm a baby. Are you flying fucking kidding me?
Why is it that everybody's worried so much about what everybody else is doing and they just don't concentrate on their own business?
He's in a hospital bed. He should be worrying about getting out of there. which he's out now, thankfully.
Yeah, I think he's out now.
But talking about me as much as he's done the past 24 hours is only going to make your heart get worse. But he doesn't care. But he wants everyone to feel bad for him, and he does live streams with the title Live from the Hospital Bed. Come on. Really?
It's a novelty for him and his followers, obviously. And if he can't be without YouTube or this genre, if you will, while he's in hospital trying to recuperate, he's got more problems than just his heart ailment.
1,000% agree.
Sancho, it could always be worse. It could be Lady Di trying to see emo naked.
Oh.
Okay, now I'm not gonna try and justify what Brian's thought process is because I would never understand it. I just know that if it was me in that hospital bed and I had a beautiful daughter like he's got a beautiful daughter, well, I actually have two beautiful daughters, that I would be more concerned about them.
Yep.
I'd be more concerned about my daughters and my grandchildren than anything. The live streams, hey, those can wait. Let me focus on the ones that I love right now. With everything going on, I'd be focused on them because they're what's important.
I can understand him being bored in a hospital room where the only excitement is when the nurse comes in every 4 hours to check on you. And yeah, he needs a little entertainment, but broadcasting from there, I saw a couple of clips here and there on, I should say clips. I saw some stills here and there of him in there with his hospital gown on. It's ridiculous. It's him trying to draw attention to himself. And that type of individual, in my mind, is just not worth wasting my time on. What is worth wasting my time on, you will all see now in the private chat.
Are you porn bombing us?
Wow. I knew he was big, but I didn't think he was that big, NJ. Wow. I'm impressed.
No, that's not just him. This is from a thesis that a police lieutenant wrote, and it has stuff. I haven't gone through it all yet. I'm only, I think, 30 something pages into it.
84 pages. Yeah, it's 84 pages long.
Yeah,
This
well,
is one from the Naval Academy.
yep,
Yeah, I've read it. It's really good.
it is fantastic.
I sent that to CFW, and her response to that, because I'm like, listen, NJ's smart as hell. I'm going to try to be like him and send this.
I'm not that smart, but I want to tell you, when I find something that's this valuable, I put it around. And I want to tell you something. This guy isn't 100% right, but he's about 98% right. And like I said, I haven't gotten through all of it yet. I'm still in his initial write-up, the first 30 some odd pages. But I want to tell you something. He's nailing it.
So she counteracted that by saying that her channel's private and she's able to control whatever she wants to. And I responded. I responded that it's a public channel. She responds by sending me this link. YouTube, not a public forum with guaranteed free speech. YouTube is not a public forum that must guarantee users right to free speech. The U.S. court is ruled. The case involved, yeah.
Yeah, well, just put it blank. Pretty much very little on the internet, unless you're running your own server, is 100% free speech, for the simple fact that these companies are there to make money from their advertisers. They can't get advertisers if the subject matter of the channel is such that no advertiser is going to put his money towards it or her money towards it. The trick is they have a set of rules. If you don't believe that those rules can get you stopped and kicked, then go right ahead and push it. See what happens. And I will tell you right now, there is no one, unless you're running your on the dark web or unless you're running your own server and pay for that type of service, there is no free speech on the internet because somebody somewhere is risking their money investing in that service is going to say, I'm not going to pull my advertising money if this person doesn't disappear. It happens all the time.
And the
That's
bottom
the way
line,
the-
they're private companies. They can
Yeah.
change their costs whenever they want to.
Yeah,
That's
private,
the way the
private
world
can do what
works.
they want. They're not controlled by anyone.
That's
But
exactly right.
one thing that irritates me a little bit about some people, and I'm not going to mention any names, is they're all about First Amendment rights as long as they totally agree with everything you're saying. And the minute you don't agree with them, they shut you down,
It's my channel. I can do what I want.
kick
But,
you out, and block you.
yeah, I'm
And
all about.
I kind of view it as like, you gotta love. And shortly after this one instance happened, I was unfriended on Facebook and blocked. So basically, to me, that's like, oh, lucky me, the trash took itself out.
Well,
Gotta love that feeling when the trash takes itself out.
It's a pre-orchestrated response. That's how it usually is with him. You're completely out of there, like it's a penalty almost. When it's not, I mean, the thing that you did is
I'm all about defending your First Amendment rights as long as I agree with what you're saying. And the minute I don't agree with you, I'm going to shut you down because I'm not going to allow you to express your First Amendment rights when it's contradictory to my own thoughts.
How are you going to be allowed to do that when you weren't even allowed to on that show? I mean, Brian was the one who booted you because he didn't want there to be a confrontation with Josh. Josh is untouchable, not accountable. Nobody can go after Josh, and that's the issue. And that's the issue with any show is some people are untouchable.
Hey, Sancho, I got to take care of a few things real quick. I'll be back in about 15 minutes, okay?
Yeah, please do.
All right. Have fun, guys.
All right. So,
hey, Sancho, I'm actually out too.
Right.
I'm kind of out of it now. So
don't everyone leave on me.
No, I'll stay.
Sorry.
Good till another hour.
Post a link.
Stupid recovery from kidney stones, man. So
feel better.
Take care,
you
Josh.
have my sympathy. I have done that myself.
Feel better. So I'm glad that you're joining us because you had some health issues. You're feeling better, I assume, correct?
Yeah, I'm feeling better.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh.
Good.
Right.
Yeah, been there, done that. It's about as close as a man can get to childbirth.
Yep. This is time number 4 for me. So
feel better, man. Smoke some
Start
weed.
drinking more water, Josh.
the last time almost killed me, so this time isn't so bad.
And I don't mean putting water with your bourbon, mate.
Who the hell is Officer Oak?
Good morning, Officer Oak.
Morning, Officer Oak.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, there he is.
Oh, what's up, y'all? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we were breaking down some film, going over some fallacies. You have to kind of break things apart and dissect them to put them back together, don't you?
Of course. I'm getting like a great push to change my profile picture because people really don't like Patrick.
Yeah, you're getting heat from that. Like, you're getting shrapnel right now from that.
Yeah, have you noticed that his e-begging is failing?
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
I don't even remember how to change my profile picture.
What's your definition of failing? Like, why is it failing?
Oh, he's bullshitted his way out of too much money. That I think the Beaver thing where he got $9,000 for a $600 fine, and the fact that he never shows receipts for it, the fact that we know that he's gambling with the money, the fact that we know that we probably paid for the birth of his kid, the fact that he moved to Houston, and he's constantly saying he's got no money. You know, if you can afford all that, you can afford a fucking lawyer.
Yeah.
Well, he wants to ride on everybody's donations. He doesn't want a job. He doesn't want to support what he now has as a family. And it's a shame because it means the young woman and the child are going to suffer.
But do you think there's a little bit of enabling from the, you know, he's a part of the CFW fan base as well, in my opinion, thinking that they're God's greatest gift on earth and, you know, they can do nothing wrong. And there are people who do enable that behavior, which is only going to let them continually do this, no?
Well, I hate to say it, but our society is creating a race of narcissists. That's my opinion. I see it in the stories I get when I'm at the dinner table during the school year, and I just shake my head and saying, what is this world coming to when we've got kindergarten kids through third grade with those kind of attitudes?
They have cell phones too, which is a change from what I grew up with.
Well, they get exposure to the adult world much too soon.
Way too quick because of cell phones, because of YouTube, because of, you know, the fact that you can go on any website you want from your cell phone, unless your parents put a filter on it.
We are living in the age of communication where the pinky and thumb on the same hand, which is supposedly what they call the opposable thumb, is supposed to make us tool makers, and we're supposed to have the intelligence to create and use those tools, and yet we can't get the pinky and thumb on the same hand to communicate in the 21st century.
We're meant to be tool makers, not texters.
Do you think all the auditors' kids are going to form their own absent father help group? What the fuck?
How many of them are there?
Didn't change. What the fuck?
Haven't half the auditors' kids been taken by CPS?
Yeah, that's why it's a funny question. There's not many left.
Yeah.
Now, I got a good question. Officer Rowe, can you see what's posted in the private chat? I don't know if you can because you came in late.
Oh, let me see. No, I can't.
All right, hang on a second.
Trying to get 8-bit to join us, but its device not connected keeps popping up 8-bit. Sorry. Try it from a different computer or cell phone if you can.
I don't know if I've introduced you to this document or not. I've been passing it around for the last couple of weeks.
I share it, but it's so many pages.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a thesis written by a police lieutenant for his master's degree. It's at a naval training base somewhere.
Monterey.
Yeah, California.
I'll definitely give it a read.
All right, well, this is just a little quote.
It's a really good piece. Really good piece.
Yeah, and this is just a little quote that tells you what the tone of the thesis. And basically, what it is he's analyzing multiple different auditors, and he's specific to the auditing group as opposed to cop watching and cop blocking, because I'm assuming from what I've read so far is they are the most concerned because of their actions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that reinforces that for me is the several towns now that have created ordinances, or several municipalities, I should say, that have created ordinances to limit the interaction of auditors and municipal employees up to and including police. You've got what happened down in Punta Gorda, Florida. You got what happened to a municipality in Kansas, whose name I can't quite, Overland Park, I believe, Overland
Mhm.
Park City. And those two did it
Tucson.
absolutely right. They did it time, place, and manner by the use of the different forums that have been defined by the Supreme Court of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Tulsa, not Tulsa,
Tucson.
Tucson, thank you. Tucson, Arizona went about it a different way because of what one group finally, last straw, did. And as far as I can see, if this continues, especially in the atmosphere that we have today, with all of the Black Lives Matter, with all of the defund the police and whatnot, this is going to damage what these people have done.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not civil disobedience anymore. It's nothing civil about it. It's violence and rioting and everything else. I mean, it's not
Well,
gonna help
just
their
putting
case.
that aside, I'm just narrowing it down to the auditors, cop watchers, and cop blockers. I mean, you can separate the three. I'm not so sure about cop blocking because I haven't really looked at that too much, but it's a form to me of not civil disobedience so much as it's a form of revenge.
Oh yeah, no, I've been saying that. They found a loophole. They can make money and get their revenge back on the cops. The bottom line is that they're getting more and more brazen about it, and it's gotten to the point where they're actually becoming close to violent. And because they're basically convicted felons, the majority of them, that makes them dangerous, and that puts them on the pretty much on the spectrum of domestic terrorists.
And I hate to say it, that's, I'm sure Officer Roke will back me up. They're on the brink of being completely labeled that way, right along with sovereign citizens.
I mean, they're not far off. I mean, it's coming to it, unfortunately, and it is unfortunate because there are a lot of good auditors out there that, they just want to film the cops, whatever, no big deal. But when you are intentionally trying to waste resources, put police officers at a higher sense of, danger, because you know how it works, because you've had so many interactions with law enforcement, you know, you're uh, you're you're causing a big problem there.
The other problem is as well that it's costing these towns a lot of money to keep these guys, keep prosecuting these guys. I mean, if you look at people like Brandt, who boasts about them costing him, this county $3 million and this city $10 million to keep prosecuting them. You think of them with all those fake FOIA requests that they put in, the amount of money they are costing these cities and that lot that that's got to be factored into it as well. That's paper terrorism as well. So if you factor all of that in, it is really domestic terrorism. I mean, the sovereign citizens are really big on the on the paper terrorism, but you put all of that, you factor all of that in, and the drain, and it's not these idiots that are paying for it. It's the citizens that are paying for it, and I think the citizens need to realize that these guys are the reasons that your bloody rates are going up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not really we the people when you sue. Your intention is to sue the city, and then make the people pay for it. Where's the justice in that?
The other side of it all to me is, where are the insurance companies and why are they not crying out? Because they're the ones whose bottom line it's affecting the most. Yeah, they can increase the rates to the towns, and yeah, the towns still have to buy. But if they talk to the politicians enough, and the politicians themselves see that, yeah, the cost to my constituents in these towns, the property taxes will go up because the insurance rates are going up, and the insurance, there's a rating system that they give, or a monetary rating system as well, to towns. And the worse you are on that tier, the more it's going to cost you. And unfortunately, a lot of people are going to have to wake up to see that this may be entertainment to a certain extent, but it's also going to be damaging your bottom line in the end when these people really start hurting the insurance companies and hurting the towns.
Well, there's been a couple of towns that have almost gone bankrupt because of these massive FOIA requests for these idiots. Just small ones, but they're the ones that only have one or two members in their clerical department. Sorry, Joe. Driver.
You'll excuse me. I have to laugh at that because I know an individual who's got near 1,700 open public records requests into a website called Oprah Machine. OPRA is the Open Public Records Act of New Jersey. And there's a site, Oprah Machine, which I don't know if it works outside New Jersey. I do know that it works here in New Jersey. And every one of this person's Oprah requests is open to the world to see because it's in the Oprah Machine. You go in, you put in this person's moniker, you put in her her aliases, and you come up with near 1,700 requests.
And I also will acknowledge, there's an activist in sexist Napoleon. Like Justin is his first name, Napoleon. I've seen him spend a lot of money on FOIA requests, and he shows the money that he put down and pays for it for a lot of extensive paperwork. But
and then he bitches about having to pay it
and donate to me. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, then he bitches about it, but he's paying for it. At least Texas are charging him a decent amount of money. I mean, I've seen him have to pay out $400 for stuff, which is so he bloody should do if he wants to keep doing that. I think if you're going to be a serial FOIA, then you pay for it. We're not dishing this out just for because you want it.
It depends on the individual state and their statute whether or not you can be charged. Most of them do charge you if it creates a burden. Some of them don't. The only FOIAs that I have done, if you will, have been in person, and I've actually had them bring the books out to me in the hallway, and I sat down and I wrote stuff down. This is back before you could take pictures with a phone, because no one was doing it. And we needed to get a list of the different towns in that individual genre. And I did it, and I published it, and it was of help. But the thing that I'm looking at is you put out over 1,500 requests for information, but then you neither publish any of it, you neither do anything with it. I mean, what is the use?
And honestly, who really wants to know how much they've spent on doorknobs or something like that? I mean,
well, I was going to say, do you think they're holding on to it for blackmail, or they're trying to build content and sit on it, or what?
No. This one not only did over 1,500 requests, has published a tiny little bit of information about it, but has actually physically been to several dozen municipalities in person, videotaping their project and accomplishing nothing other than 9 convictions for misdemeanors, and 1 or 2 of them were traffic, I will say that. And by the way, was indicted for a felony resisting arrest, and just continues doing it.
I just want to say how awesome it is to have you on my panel. I'm a big fan of you on Michael Malloy a lot, and I told everyone in the chat to throw some hearts your way because you're legit. Like, you're the real deal, my guy.
I have a YouTube channel, and it's a waste of time to go there. There's nothing in it. There's a little bit of an explanation why I don't audit and why I don't cop watch, but and it's basically for family and financial reasons. But as it stands right now, the research that I've done, the work that I've published on Civil Rights Unites, and also on Fan Club. For those of you who don't know, FAANCLUB.com. You'll see a lot of my work there in the documents area. But I mean, all it is reference for everybody else. It's a.
You don't have to answer this, but have you served prior?
Yeah.
I could tell because you were here before me, and I'm like, this guy's super early. Like he must have served because that's one of the awesome traits and characteristics. That's
You mean military?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To show up early and like, like Coughlin when he coached.
Well, I wasn't really in this early. I didn't get into it until probably 2016, maybe.
Right.
And it was a question. I was looking. I had retired in 2014, and I was still involved with a couple of other causes, and I was busy with
Not to interrupt you, New Jersey diver, but were you Navy?
Air Force.
Air Force?
And in New York.
I figured with diver I'd go with the obvious.
I'm sorry, I couldn't get to that.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, he said what he either figured with your screen name being what it is. That's why he said that.
No, I served 2 years active duty, and for family reasons, I got out early, and ended up doing 4 years in the New York Air National Guard because it was the only two close stations that I could go to get out what's called Palace Chase. But yeah, I did serve. My father's was a naval aviator, World War II. My father-in-law's retired Army and National Guard. But yeah, and nobody else in my family's going into the military that I know of. My daughter is doing her master's degree right now, and
yeah, my dad was a Navy CB during World War II. My grandfather was in the Navy in World War II. My uncle was in the Navy during Korea. So yeah, the Navy played a big part in my family, but I decided to go Army myself. So,
what got you into the auditing community, NJ? And who was the first auditor who caught your eye? And
watching police brutality videos, basically. That's how I started. And then I caught on to a few of the auditors that were a little more famous back then. Batusai, Bunny Boots, Inc., and unfortunately News Now Houston. And some of the other crews, both in Texas and in California. But I of late have not been watching all that many videos because they're all basically the same. They start out taunting. They start out being somewhere where they really don't have a reason to be there. They are testing the system. And to a certain extent, I can agree with that. But when it goes past the testing of the system into taunting and baiting, that's when I draw the line as far as, all right, this guy's not worth my time.
How surprised were you the first? I mean, listen, we all start pure and innocent when we follow this movement, and then we get a little, wow, rude awakening. When was that first rude awakening for you when you smelled something that didn't smell right?
When I started listening to Merbeast, he started out I mean, he was on Discord before this, but I first caught on with him on Bunny Boots' Discord and Bunny Boots' YouTube channel, and then of course when Merb opened the Speakeasy, I went over there. But the interesting part about it all was, yeah, he's arrogant, yeah, he has an attitude, but 90% of what he says is rock solid truth. And yeah, like I said, he's got the attitude, but he has the background in the law. He's an acting lawyer, regardless of what specialty you're in. When you get your bar card, you've studied it all. You have to, because that's what they do. Regardless of whatever specialty you decide to go into, or just general law, criminal law, what have you, you still must pass all the tests and you still have to be able to know it, not completely the all, but enough of a roundabout for every type of law that you can give an opinion on it, even if it's just from a lowly 2-year family lawyer. He knows more about it than any of us
And
because
the
he
other thing,
spent the time studying it.
he has the research skills which none of these morons have.
Yeah, well,
I need to
the
talk to
morons,
that guy
yeah,
one
there
of
are
these days.
groups out there that are very good at research, and I'm thankful for being involved with some of them. But it's in my case, it's not so much I want to learn the law as I want to learn the sections of the law that deal with this, and I want to put it out there so people can study it, can learn that this is where you cross the line. You go across that, you're going to open yourself up for a police record.
So here's a question for you. If the current regime, shall we say, changes in November, do you think we're going to see these guys run for the hills because of changes that will come to policing?
I don't think it's going to matter who sits in the White House right now. The changes are already in the works. There are at least, I want to say 10 different pieces of federal legislation that are in both houses right now, some of which have been there for 5 and more years.
Yeah, well,
Nobody's
that's true.
done anything with them. Some of the more recent ones are on the fast track. Two of them, one from the House, one from the Senate, are very different, dealing with the same subject, which is qualified immunity. One is looking to get rid of it. The other is looking to roll it back a little, reform it. But the interesting part is nothing's going to happen with either of them because the president's already said he's not going to sign them.
And that's just wrong. I'm sorry, but I feel that qualified immunity, something has got to be done with that.
Yeah, no, we're not debating that. I mean, it has to be overhauled. And I think that if somebody is found guilty of deliberate murder, then yeah, okay, fair enough. But
yeah, and I was involved with another panel where they were talking about that also, and I made the comment that people cannot afford health care because doctors have to carry malpractice insurance.
Yeah.
And there's so many malpractice cases that a lot of doctors can't afford it, and that's why doctors have to get paid so much so they can afford that malpractice insurance. And that's why health care is not affordable to most people.
Well, the other thing you got to look
at. Do you
at.
guys know what qualified immunity is?
Qualified immunity means that you're not held personally liable for stuff that you do if you're acting under the color of law.
Well,
that you have qualified immunity where you could not be
civilly liable,
right? Where you could not be sued personally. Where even if a settlement is reached, it's the taxpayers that lose the money, not the officer signatures on his own.
So if an officer is charged with murder and he's acting under the color of law, then I guess it really doesn't matter whether he has his qualified immunity wouldn't be there anyways. I just what qualified immunity stops is people saying, "Oh, well, you pulled me over, and although you gave me this ticket, and I may be guilty of this ticket, you wasted my time because you didn't like my car." And you could sue anybody for any reason. You can't sue an officer for that because they have qualified immunity. But if you get rid of that, now you can. So now we're going to have officers getting sued. I'm just speculating. Could have officers getting sued because they pulled somebody over and wasted 15 minutes of their time on a traffic stop.
I think if an officer is actually found guilty of deprivation of rights or whatever, violating somebody's rights in a court of law, then the qualified immunity no longer, and civil action can be taken.
Yeah,
that's already in place.
If the officer has a legitimate reason to pull somebody over, then absolutely he should be covered. If he knowingly violates somebody's rights, then no, his qualified immunity should be null and void, and he should be held personally responsible, not the taxpayers.
Oh yeah, I mean, if the officer's a piece of shit and he pulls over a black guy because he's a black guy, then yes, definitely. But I mean, then he should have the cams going left, right, and center to make sure that he pulled him over legitimately.
That's already where we're at, though.
Yeah, the problem is that the public is seeing too many justified shootings, too many justified uses of excessive force that are blatantly violations, and yet nothing is happening with them. In certain cases, the individual officers have been promoted.
The problem
that
is,
sort of thing has got to be looked at. People have got to learn that you are responsible for your actions, whether you are on one side of the aisle or on the other side of the aisle. And I'm saying whether you're wearing the uniform or whether you're a civilian.
The other problem.
You are responsible for your actions, whether you're on duty or off duty.
Oh, look, I agree with you totally. But the other problem is that there's been a number of these YouTube viral videos or even Twitter things saying, "Oh, they've shot an unarmed black man. They shot an unarmed black man." But then when you go back and you see the body cam and stuff like that, you find out that the guy was not unarmed. He was armed. He did point a firearm in an officer's face. Yes, don't get me wrong. There are incidents where that has not happened, but the amount of fake information that's going out there as well. The what do you call it? The misplaced indignity without people knowing the facts. And this is where I think it's getting tricky. Is because you get all these viral videos going out that say, "Oh, they shot another black man, blah blah blah," but they haven't got all the information. It's like frauditors; they don't have all the information. They just give you what they want you to see, so you get incensed by it, and then a little while later, when the evidence comes out, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, and that's another thing people don't realize. With the digital systems we have today, they can pretty much make the video say whatever they want it to say.
Exactly.
They can get in and edit out what they don't want the public to see. They can basically use digital editing software to do whatever they want with it. I mean, CGI, you don't need actors anymore. It's almost that good. And unfortunately, the public doesn't really realize that, or either that or doesn't care. They just want to be entertained. That's what the majority of this genre is doing right now. It's entertaining people. The point that people like Jeff Gray or Laura Shark and the other gentleman that's out with her out there, they actually did accomplish things. They actually did expose corruption. Unfortunately, they have been overwhelmed by the frauditors, the e-beggars, the what else are the auditors, as it were, the other descriptive names.
Frauditors.
They're frauditors.
Which
And
category does Stereo fall under?
who?
Stereo, Glenn.
Stereo's just a racist.
I'm not familiar with.
Serio's just a revenge taker.
Hold on, guys. We have a question from Swami, who was waiting to like me, then decided to like me, and now I don't think likes me now. I just don't understand why you're mad at CFW just because she wouldn't come here for you to ridicule her. Well, so where did I ridicule her? When I was on her show for over a half hour, did I ridicule her then? So why would you assume I'll ridicule her now when she's been invited to respond to my video that I released this morning, where she's been proven to be a liar multiple times? If she doesn't want to come and address it, that's on her. She's clearly available, just doesn't want to come on and address it. So my question to you, Swami, is who doesn't want to address it? Who doesn't want to be held accountable? Her or me? Sorry, guys, carry on.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, but he's Swami's watched all her videos. Okay, and I'm not sure what that has to do with it. Sancho and her were having a discussion, and she's saying one thing, he's saying another. He has video clips to back what he's saying. What does she have to back what she's saying, other than her false narrative video?
Swami, if you haven't watched the video from this morning, please do. I'm not going to jump on you if you haven't watched that video. But for me to say that I've been begging her to come on, I simply made a mention that she was on another show at the same time here, and she got a StreamYard link to come on and address why she lied to me yesterday. Does she have to address it? No.
And
But don't say you're an accountable person and you have ethics when you refuse to click on a link and address something.
And I'm not going to accuse anybody of lying or anything like that. If CFW wants to come up here, I'll be more than happy to drop out of here and just leave her and Sancho, and they can just be one-on-one. And I'd be totally okay with that. And I'd just sit back and hear what was being said.
3-on-1. Not once did she ask anyone to jump down. It was 3-on-1 against me. Against a little young YouTuber.
Right, but what I'm saying is if she wants to come up here now and respond to your invitation, I will be more than happy to drop off panel and let you and her just go one-on-one. And then she can't accuse you of, or she can't say that she's feeling outnumbered. Yeah, so if it's one-on-one, hey, you're on equal grounds. State your own case and go from there.
She doesn't think she needs to, but she's gonna ask the public to donate to her. She wants the public to send her money, but when the public questions her, it's a fucking problem.
Well, don't send her money. Send me money to help pay my mom's funeral costs. It'd go to a better cause.
Sorry.
Now, one of the other things that I'm waiting to see, and it's because of the pandemic, I'm sure it's going to take a little longer, but these people that have been making money from YouTube, and believe me, this entire genre, the amount of money that they're making is minuscule compared to what some of these other channels that are out there that have crazy themes that you wouldn't think anyone would even want to watch, have millions of followers, and I'm sure are making a very good buck, more than surviving on their YouTube videos. And it just makes me laugh when I see that type of thing, and yet these people are crying, I'm fighting for your freedoms and I need money. Well, I hate to say it, but there are people out there that are not on YouTube that do a hell of a lot better job at fighting for our freedoms and do it for a living and are not living off it, but do it for a living because they're dedicated to that cause. And you come along and you want to just get money to be able to go and do what you feel like doing, and you're not really accomplishing anything other than perhaps having a little municipality somewhere have to go through the process of creating an ordinance which limits people's freedoms. And that's
What
what
do you
it's
think
going
would
to come to.
That's
What do
what
you think
it's
would
already come.
happen? What do you think would happen if YouTube stopped paying people to make content?
Oh, believe me, they're just paying a minuscule amount of what they're getting from the advertisers.
No, I know that, but I mean, like, what if YouTube decided?
Here's something for you. Here's something for Here's something for you. Who's got what's the biggest? Who's got the most followers in the auditing community?
Who knows anymore?
Pardon?
Who knows anymore? Nobody's bothering to
what
keep
would you?
track because they know that with the purchase of subscribers that are out there, that any of those
No, but
that
who
have the wonderful little brick from uh, Google, congratulating them for the 100,000th and one subscriber that they're getting. How many of those are really legit?
Oh yeah, well we know Auditing America's bought most of his because his views don't tally with his subscribers. But what just out of curiosity, even with the bought subs, who would have the biggest channel, and how many would there be? Under 250,000?
Oh, absolutely. I
Okay.
don't think anybody's even broken the 200,000 yet.
Yeah, well there you go. And yet one of the guys they hate the most, donut operator's got 1.6 million, and he's a cop, ex-cop. Plus he's got a couple of other channels for gaming and stuff like that. But you know, one of the biggest cop channels has 1.6 million subscribers to less than 200,000 to somebody who most of us wouldn't even watch anyway.
Auditing America has 149K subscribers, and when you search his name, Auditing America, the first video that comes up is Kenny Klein's video that he posted 6 days ago, calling out Auditing America,
proving that he's alive.
So that just goes to show you that the algorithm ain't fucking adding up. You know, like if he had really 149,000 subscribers, you know, you would think he would be at the top of the charts compared to a channel. How many subscribers does Kenny Klein have? 1.5K. So he has 130 times more subscribers than Kenny Klein. But Kenny Klein is at the top of the list.
Yeah. Yeah. Fizzy just put up the numbers for us. So NNH has 188. Against it's 176, and Frauditing America are the three biggest. What about Jeff Gray? What about Pinnack? Or, what's he up to? What's Bow? He's got a fair few too, hasn't he?
So let's see here on Auditing America. A video posted 1 week ago has 7.5K views.
What's Kenny's got?
Well, Bao basically is an entertainer.
Bao's a lunatic.
You know, he's a clown, and basically he came into this genre because he thought he could gain more subscribers, and he has been and is presently living in a van.
Clash with Bao only has 34K subscribers.
Oh, he only has 34K. Okay.
So let me address this. Do the other auditors with CFW are lying
Oh,
too?
what about Freeman? He's fed up there too, isn't
He's up there too. So I think the big issue we're having with CFW is she's opening her mouth while the other ones are keeping their mouth shut. They're playing dumb. They're not answering questions, and she's continually digging a hole for herself. That's why the attention is on her, and I'm going to pass it off to Oak, who has also been attacked for his comments on CFW. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, one thing that I really thought was funny, just to go further into what Sancho said, when she was on News Now 702 stream, it was funny how she tried to get Pugs to corroborate her story on the man getting arrested shortly after they left the scene. She says, "Oh yeah, that this was on Friday, right? You know, we were there Friday, right, Pugs? It was Friday." And you could notice, like, she knows that she's wrong. She knows that she fucked up, but like, what did she do? She tries to corroborate it and make Pug say, yeah, it was Friday, and then try to make that like. But she I don't know if she's like not realizing that we could figure that out easily, and we did, or if she thought like we would just go with it, like, oh, I guess it was Friday.
So let me stress, Swami's not CFW. Swami's a legit poster. Swami has an opinion that he's every right to. I am giving Swami the respect by addressing that because he's not a troll. He is someone with questions who deserves answers, and he's getting those answers.
Okay, and I wasn't trying to insinuate anything. I was just asking a question because I did not know.
No. I just wanted to address that just in case someone else asked that question as well. Because that's not an abnormal thought to pass through your mind. Because I'm sure that's been asked before. Because he's defending somebody that's not getting any defense in this room. So of course that's going to be asked. So it's not a problem on you for asking, but I needed to stand up to him and defend him because he's asking a legitimate question and he's getting a legitimate answer from 2 of the 3 people who spoke on her initially.
Okay, and Swami, I apologize to you, but to say up mine, I was just asking a question. It seemed like a pretty obvious question. Please forgive me for asking the obvious.
Peace and love.
Yeah, not only that, DFK, but the thing is so Swami is probably like, it's kind of like keeping like somebody sheltered, right? So when these people, I mean, obviously Swami's been watching all of CFW's videos, probably loves everything she does because that's all Swami knows, what CFW tells, and when Swami is getting this information from us that this this person that they've respected and watched all this time is not who they appear, because some people just they just don't, they like the person, they don't think about it. I'm not sure, they have loyalty to them.
You question it because it's so believable, like believing her bullshit.
Yeah, and she'll go on there and I mean, she can defend herself, of course, but she'll go on there and say things like, no, it's all lies, don't listen to them, this and that, but she offers no evidence.
Hey, Sancho, highlight Fizzy's last comment, would you please? That's pretty good. And I have to agree with that comment.
Yeah, but that's the thing is a cop out for her lying.
And she labels them mistakes. She doesn't admit to lying. She calls them mistakes. When you do mistakes multiple times, you become a pathological liar and not a pathological mistaker.
Yeah, but still, just to admit some sort of wrongdoing in general, in and of itself, is hard for a lot of people.
It's hard for you-know-who as well. He made excuses for saying that it was rewounded and played wrong. When it was played as well as played before.
It was played wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's the stupidest pulling things out of your ass excuse.
You replayed my voice wrong.
Right.
And
then it was
you took what I said word for word incorrectly.
You computer generated my words in a different order.
I said it, but I didn't mean to say it. But because everyone said that I didn't say it, I didn't say it.
Yeah, so you should have knew. even though you did know.
And the reality is, there's very, very few people associated with this genre that have that kind of talent, let alone that expensive software to be able to do what he.
Well, it's just about being a magician and using misdirection. So they're watching this hand while you're doing something with the other one. It's all about the misdirection.
Now, that's also called fraud.
It's a difficult pill to swallow when you think someone is something, you admire the background, you admire what they're doing, you're admiring their voice, you're admiring their opinion, and then you find out they're not who you thought they were. And it's all about content. It's
I
all
can
about
attest to that firsthand.
It's what you can do for my channel. It's who you can get for my channel.
I can attest to that firsthand.
Newsdale Houston had no idea who the hell that guy was when he came on that show that night. Let that sink in.
I'm not sure what show you're referring to.
It's a cult of personality.
Right. Well, just want to throw that out there.
I kind of feel like with Swami, right? We're like red pilling Swami right now, right? But we got like the red pill and the blue pill, and we're like, listen, you can take the truth, or you can go back to your normal life. Watching this fraud.
Swami's not the only person who asked that question. She herself guilt tripped everyone and said, "Well, nobody's questioning the other two. Why are they only questioning me?" She said it so many times that it's normal for someone, and Swami's not the only one to mention it, that we picked on her and her only. And she played the victim really well.
No.
She gave content by opening her mouth. She gave content by lying multiple times. What do you think that's going to give anybody?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was just like, here's this Facebook post, it's pretty reliable, but we don't, that's all we got. We got the video.
Yeah.
That's it. And then now she's talked herself into a hole.
Yeah.
And it's only made things worse.
Come on now, we all know videos don't lie.
It's like you pull someone over and they say they have 2 drinks, and all of a sudden it's okay. I've had 8 drinks. It's like
something you just said, though. Wait a minute. Something you just said. Videos don't lie. Videos are myopic and can be made to say whatever the person who's got the talent can make.
Right. And that was exactly why I said that, because we had just touched on that.
If people don't realize, the lens is still just 2-dimensional, and it is myopic in that it has blinders all the way around itself. It only has a short range of vision as far as all 4 dimensions. It can only record what's in front of it. It can't hear. It can hear, perhaps, if you've got a decent outdoor external mic, but it can't hear or see what's going on behind it.
Okay, well, let's rephrase that then. Instead of saying videos don't lie, well, I will go ahead and say videos don't lie, but they can be manipulated.
Exactly. And they are myopic. There's a couple of papers that I have, opinion pieces, dealing with that point as far as evidence goes in a trial. Video is very good to reveal a 2-dimensional and myopic look at whatever it is being recorded. But unless you get the proper angle, and unless you can somehow extrapolate that to 3 dimensions, and that can be done, there are analyses military that have it, that can take a photo and determine distance, can determine height and width of something, but it takes very, very tight calculations, and it isn't 100% accurate, but it's damn near close.
No, that's right. Socially awkward. There are good auditors out there, but I mean, the big ones usually aren't because they're big for a reason. Because they're there for the clicks and views.
Shock and awe.
Yeah.
It's more views when you call a cop a piece of shit than it is when you shake their hand.
Oh, of course.
That's the problem we have. And DFK has been very public about his support of Josh. And he's also been very public, and it was a public situation what happened with the breakdown between him and Josh. I had nothing to do with that at all. I am simply offering the safe haven place that he knows he has with me on this panel. He is somebody that I very much enjoy engaging with, just like everyone else on this panel. It's a treat and a joy, and I'm very appreciative of everyone's time and intelligence. You can be anywhere you want. You can be on any panel you want, but you're on this one, and it's gratefulness and appreciation. And people can have their mind changed. I was very friendly with Josh for a couple of weeks as well. We were doing karaoke and everything. But when your eyes get open, your eyes get open. And when you smell shit, it's shit. And when you point out that it's shit, and people want to think it's roses when it's shit, enough's enough.
And after getting on this panel, I was messaging somebody earlier, and they says, "Well, come on this panel." It's like, no, I'm gonna go somewhere else because it's a Josh free zone. So I'm here.
Yeah.
It was even supposed to be, oh, you're on El Sancho. It's like, yeah, it's a Josh free zone. I mean, maybe he's sitting in the background watching somewhere, but I seriously doubt he'll come up on panel.
No, I don't think he will.
Oh no, he's taking over my channel. Oh no, guys, what do I do? He's taking over my channel. What is this? The piece of shit of the week. Vote now, and the result, what the hell is this? 66% accountability for all is the piece of shit of the week on his own channel, guys.
I'm sorry, Sancho. AFA does better impersonations than you. Sorry, you're just going to have to be you and let AFA be everybody else.
I do a better Bucket Boy impersonation than him.
Swami, just to let you know, CFW is only getting thrown under the bus because she lied and she got caught out this week. She's not the only one. We call them out when it happens, and this week we called her out because she lied, and that's it. She's just the auditor that got caught out this week. We've called out Josh on numerous occasions. We've called out numerous people. It's if they lie, we call them out. That's what we do. That's what we're here for.
And you're not the only group doing it.
Not only that, but it wasn't, the Facebook post wasn't about pugs or anybody. It specifically named CFW. You want to hear about pugs? Stand by. I'm sure there's more content coming when the FOIA requests come back.
Oh, speaking about calling somebody out when they lie, I got to come clean. I lied on my first panel of Sancho.
Uh-oh.
The first Sancho panel I was on, Sancho asked the question, did Josh reach out to you? And I said, yes, Josh reached out to me. That was a lie.
Why would you do like that?
I don't know. I don't know what prompted me to do it.
Put your arms behind your back. You're under arrest.
All right.
Book 'em, Oaks. Go ahead.
Better read me my rights before I say anything incriminating.
Go ahead, DFK.
Too late. I already did.
Why would you lie to Sancho? Because Josh, when he was yelling at you and demeaning you about an hour after they did a moment of silence for you for what happened to you, which is convenient, I thought. They stated that he was the only one who gave a shit about you and no one else even talks to you.
Yeah, and he said he was the only one that reached out to me. Well, I'm trying to figure out how it was that he justifies having reached out to me. He never called me, never messaged me, never sent me a text. So I'm not sure what his idea is of reaching out. People have different ideas of what things are, and I'm trying to justify that in my mind that he did, but I'm trying to figure out how he justifies it.
Did he contact you at all?
I cannot come up with that answer.
Was there any contact at all? Any form of contact?
No.
So why would he say on air that he's the only one who gives a shit about you and contacts you? When you and I both know,
he actually said himself that he was the only one that reached out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how he justifies reaching out.
Yeah.
It's called optics, Sancho. He's trying to make the optics.
I will go on record. I will go on record right now and say that Sancho is the only one that actually reached out to me, because Sancho has called me on a cell phone. He has called me on my cell phone. And the first time he did it, I didn't answer it because I don't answer when the calls come up saying restricted. So it was a voicemail left, and I listened to the voicemail, and it was like somebody saying they were in Portland and they were reaching out because they saw my number on Craigslist. Like, what the hell is this? And it's like, oh, this is Sancho. Okay. And now it still comes up restricted, and I'm thinking, oh God, is this a telemarketer or is this Sancho? And it's like, okay, so I'm slightly more inclined to answer restricted calls than I have ever been in my life.
And the telemarketing business is on an all-time high because of me. And
you need to quit that shit, because God knows we all hate telemarketers.
He's been buying furry like pajamas and all this shit from telemarketers because of me.
Yeah, but it makes your day when your caller ID comes up with your own number.
Oh yeah, that happened to me the other day.
Oh, it's happened to me half a dozen times, and the funny part is,
now you know why I don't get my real number out.
Yeah, well, the funny part is, I worked in communications. Oh my God, since '74, and even a little bit before that, I was assembling. My first full-time job was assembling aircraft radios. But the interesting part about all this is there's technology out there that allows them to do whatever the hell they want, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it, because a majority of these crank calls that are coming in now, and especially the fraud, are from
and the
overseas.
cloned numbers. Oh my God, the cloned phone numbers.
Yeah,
I got a call the other day from a number I didn't recognize. I didn't answer it. It went to voicemail. Voicemail got left, and it was that one saying the Social Security scam. Oh, so I immediately called it back. I was ready to have some fun. The guy answered the phone and says, let me guess, you got a message saying Social Security. It's like, yeah. It's like, he says, they got my number. It's like, crap, I was so looking to have some fun with these people.
So did you answer yes to him reaching out to you because you were hopeful that he would reach out to you, so you didn't feel bad about saying that? Or like, why would you say that he reached out to you during,
I think I did it because
direct family loss, so reaching out to you isn't really difficult to do since your mother passed. So reaching out isn't a burden to people. It's not a burden to me. I just got to remember to call you. And then once I call you, then it's great, and it's not, a burden to me. But I just want to know why you would say that he did something that he didn't.
I think I'm really thinking that, well, I'm at least hoping that I was thinking that if I said yes, since I had the admiration for him that I did, and still probably do a little bit just because of what he does out there and how he has that verbal judo going on, I'm kind of thinking and hoping that I did it because of that admiration that I had for how he is in his videos, about how he handles himself, and not to show him in a bad light, because he is so good at, the way I see it, he is really good at what he does. He is really good at the auditing. The bad ones, yes, he tears into. The good ones, he shows respect to them. But I think it's just the admiration of how he conducts himself out there, with the exception of that one security officer. We got to mention that, because that's a big issue. But I think it's just the admiration that I felt at that moment that he does this, so I don't want to portray him in a bad light because I have this admiration for what he's doing. I'm really hoping that that's what I was thinking when I did it. And I don't know how to make that any clearer than that. But I can honestly say the only one that actually has reached out to me is Sancho. The only one.
DFK. I hope that's not why. I disagree. I think that's part of that mind controlled judo he puts on people.
Well,
You
I
know,
did notice in that one panel when the shit hit the fan, and he
no hero.
didn't want to hear what I was having to say because it was against what his own thoughts were, and he was in control, so he booted me off because he didn't want to get into it. And it's like, so I was in the chat.
He lives in his own
in
little
the
world.
chat, I posted, I says, okay, so you're the verbal judo master, but yet you don't want to have me on panel and discuss this. You just want to.
Because now you're against him.
You're a First Amendment auditor, but you want to deny me my First Amendment right because it disagrees with what your thoughts are. How is that right? So I don't want to get too into that because all that's going to do is build up my anger.
Well, the second you don't fit his narrative, you're a problem.
Yeah.
Or you call him out.
And you got muted and kicked, and
it's all about your First Amendment right. As long as I agree with everything you're saying, and the minute that I don't agree with everything you're saying, I'm going to boot you, kick you, and unfriend you and block you. Well, okay, well, great. The trash took itself out then. Problem solved.
Just to let you know, okay, there is actually something on his community page about what happened, about your mum.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that, but okay.
Yeah, no, there is something there. So just so you're aware, in case he says, "Oh, but I mentioned it on my community page." So just double check that because
I don't even know how to find community pages.
On his YouTube, you just click the community tab. I'm not sure if it's his or News Now New England, which one he put it on, but it's on one of those two.
Well, I know that NNE was running a banner out there about donate to help, but I wasn't aware that Josh actually did anything.
Yeah, no, I said there is something there. I'm just letting you know, just in case it comes back to bite you or he comes back to bite you. So just to let you know that there is something actually out there.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then maybe he did reach out anonymously, but he did that without me even knowing about it. So he wants to hold it against me. I know firsthand that Sancho reached out because my phone rang.
So let's see. So he has promoted the show he's on now twice.
I thought he did it more than twice, but okay.
It's down where there's a few.
The Piece of Shit of the Week award. This is live, 66%. Josh Abrams wins the Piece of Shit of the Week award. America runs on.
It's a bit further down. There's a where it says people passing. God,
Stop. We're already at 6 days ago. Happy Father's Day. This is the funniest thing ever. We're already at 6 days ago.
Yeah, my mother passed on the 15th, so it could not have been before that.
Is this confusing like the one about the Gregory Jones?
It's in here somewhere.
This is from a week ago. Today we mourn for one of our own, a member of the AFA family, our moderator, subscriber, and friend Gregory Jones lost his aunt. We are family. We will stick together. And Greg, we do have your back. Hashtag gone for not forgotten. Hashtag Gregory Strong. Hashtag AFA family. Is that the one you think it is?
That ain't me.
Oh, okay. Scroll down. There's a few more people. A couple of people have passed away. There's a few more on there.
Yeah, I know. Anarchic Chick's aunt or grandmother passed recently too.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what.
All right, Sherry Walter.
Is that one?
Our favorite subscriber.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got it wrong, but I did see that one, and I thought it was. I thought it might have been related to you. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Nothing about DFK.
Okay. I think it was the one about the aunt that I got mixed up with. I apologize for that.
Yeah, it could be.
That's okay, Morgan. You're human. You showed your human side. God forbid you let it happen again.
Could be.
Oh, at least I remembered it was there.
Hey, Morgan, thanks for making me laugh a little bit.
That's okay, sweetie.
It's appreciated.
No problem. So I'm sorry it wasn't your aunt, though.
So let me pass the football off to Oak and then NJ, and then we'll go to Morgie. What did I not discuss that's on your mind that you guys want to discuss? Go ahead, Oak.
Oh shit! I wasn't here for the first part of the show, so I don't know
What do we have to look forward to, like tomorrow night on the Massel Report?
I couldn't tell you. Kate's got her bag of tricks. I'm sure something will come out of that. That'll be interesting. Y'all just have to stay tuned for that one. I don't know. There's some stuff, but I can't talk about it yet. Gotta hold it in.
Baga.
Are you planning something? Is it something about you or something you're working on a story about someone else?
I'll let you know. Just, it's not here.
It's not the dick pictures I sent you, is it?
It's
oh God, I hope not.
Oh,
it's the dick picture.
Oh, great.
Oh Lord.
It was really cold out, guys. Let me just do a PSA right now. It was so cold. It was like 32 degrees out. I was freezing cold with an air conditioner on as well. That's not how it normally looks.
And you just stepped out of a cold shower, right? You left that part out.
The cold.
The bidet got him. It was the bidet.
Yes.
Still would have been bigger than Josh's.
Well, it depends what he does to that photo, Officer Oakes. We'll just leave it at that. What about you, NJ? Awesome having you on tonight. Beyond appreciative of your time. You've been very charming.
Yeah, I've been listening to you guys, and I lost track of the time. I got to take another one of my antibiotics.
What's on your mind tonight to the wrap up? Anything that we haven't gotten to?
Well, it's just that the way things are going and the reforms that are being called for, the attitudes that I see coming back, and this is no insult on you personally, Officer Oak, the attitudes I see coming, excuse me. That's what happens when you're tied to
You're under arrest. You said you were going to insult me.
You're under arrest. That's it.
No, I said no insult to you personally, but
no, I'm just messing with you, man.
Attitude that I'm seeing from the blue line is that we're in control and we don't care about the media. We don't care about the politicians. We're just going to be the way we are forever. And I'm getting this from a Discord server that is made up primarily of police officers.
You got to invite me to the server.
I'm sorry?
I said you got to invite me to that server because I'm not part of that one.
Well, I don't have an open server, so it's what is it called? Officer 401.
Oh, he's a YouTuber, right?
I don't know. He might be.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber. I've been trying to get him on the panel.
Yeah, well, if you think Mere Beast had rules, you should see his.
I've been trying to get him and Oaks on the panel to see who has the bigger nightstick.
Yeah, it's not the night. It's not the size of the nightstick. It's the
If they
skill.
end up changing,
It's how you use it.
Right.
It's the
Skill
skill
you-
and the attitude of the person holding it.
yeah. The thing is that if they change the training and they change the entrance examinations and requirements, policing is going to start looking different. It did here when they started changing it, and officers have to have a degree now.
Well, it's not just that. I've seen major police departments come out with protocols and policies about auditors, and yet I still see auditors getting more and more brazen, possibly because of those policies, but I still see officers violating them. And that's something that I personally don't understand, especially when you're doing it in an area that has had a federal circuit court of appeals rule for the videographer or photographer. And there's been 6 of them out of 12. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's the arrogance that some of these officers have, or it's just a complete apathy that
Lack
they
of
have.
training. Lack of training.
No, because these are things that have been, if not in the academy, and I'm sure it's being pushed that far down, it is in the weekly or daily briefings that I'm sure officers get routinely. I mean, Officer Oak, I don't know.
The thing is, right, that
I'm not, Officer Oak, I'm not going to ask you this personally, but in your department, do you have some sort of bulletins that come out, or do you have a watch commander that sits everybody down before they go out, or do you have some sort of briefing every day or weekly?
Yes, we do 2 briefings a day. A pre briefing, which is before shift, and a post briefing. And we pretty much talk about what's going on today, what the last shift put out, what they said was going on at the pre briefing, and then we go and do our shift, and then after we're done, we have a post briefing. We just talk about we'll talk about what if our paperwork's all caught up. We'll turn in paperwork, turn in tickets, finish reports out, and talk about like what happened that day, if anything significant happened. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, those sort of things go on all across the country.
Yeah, I mean, every day, not every day, but I mean, quite often case law changes. It's a ever evolving beast. You never can learn law. You can never know the law. It's a practice that you have to continuously study because it changes very often. So,
yeah,
at least case law. Case law changes very often, and we update ourselves on case law during these briefings and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know your age, but if you recall, up to a certain point, you didn't have to Mirandize anybody. Now it's mandatory.
Right.
And that was a huge change.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's mandatory if you're going to question them about the crime. If you don't plan on questioning about it, then there's no point in Mirandizing them. It's not like cops where you put them in, grab them, put them in cuffs. You're like, you have the right to remain silent. Anything
Yeah,
you do
what
or
you
say.
see on television is not reality.
No, that's
even the live cop thing. That's still, it may not be scripted, but those cops know they're being videotaped because they're professional cameras there.
yeah. There's no there's no a lot of people, you know, they think, oh, you didn't read me my rights, so this arrest is not going to go through anyways. You're just going to get thrown out. You didn't read me my rights. And it's like, well, I really don't have to read you your rights if I'm not going to ask you questions pertaining any the cat.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. If I'm not going to ask you questions pertaining to the incident, you know, if I'm not asking anything incriminating.
Will you shut up?
It wants some attention.
He wants attention. He's just eaten. He wants attention now. So sorry about that.
At least your cat's not in uncontrollable heat.
No, it's not.
Not like Ginger. I love Ginger, but her cat. Oh my God! I don't know how she lives with that cat.
Oh, he's usually pretty good. He's just had something to eat and he wants a hug. That's all. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, policy.
Hey, Officer Oak, I'm not trying to play frauditor, but have you arrested any fellow cops?
I arrested one for DUI.
Okay. So then you have the potential of being a good cop then. I wasn't trying to insinuate anything less, but I was just asking that question because I know for a fact that there are police officers that see a fellow officer doing something wrong and they will not say a word. They won't necessarily jump in to help the citizen, but they won't stop the officer either. And just the fact that you have done that puts you good in my eyes. And I'm not saying all cops are bad. I will never say that. I was just asking.
No, that's fine, man. I mean, my main thing is I don't even think most cops are bad. I think a very small portion of police officers are fucked up, you know, and they're.
I usually find it's the old school.
And I totally agree with that. I
don't think
totally agree with that. The problem is, I think the real problem is the good cops outnumber the bad cops. That's a given. That has got to be a given. The good cops outnumber the bad cops, but the bad cops make more headlines, and because the bad cops make more headlines, people think the opposite, that there are more bad cops out there than good cops.
Yeah, it's that standard 2% fuck it up for the 98%.
Right, and the 2% get 10,000 videos posted, and the 2% get 3.
Exactly.
So it really sways the public's decision or the public's opinion. And I'm a firm believer that people just need to go out randomly with video cameras and record cops doing good things and make sure those get plastered all over the internet. Where positive law enforcement videos outweigh the bad law enforcement videos.
Yeah, I mean, and I wish that was feasible, but you know, that kind of content just doesn't bring any viewers, you know. Good cops don't bring viewers, and that's what the problem is, because that the auditors that aren't in it for the movement, you know, they are out to make every cop the bad cop, and they want to make it their narrative and skew a situation to look like something that it's not, or you know, make, you know, just lie and cut off the video at certain times, start a bunch of
Or
shit,
give
and then,
false narratives. Yeah,
give a false narrative.
Here's a problem I have: people who like to stir shit up. Diamond Justice is over at the other channel. I was just sent this. He subscribed to my channel this morning after getting kicked off that show last night. He is leaving positive comments for the first time this morning. All of a sudden, he leaves a message. Brian, I thought DFK was cool with you guys, talking shit on the one channel you don't like. I don't understand if I'm on a channel and I liked it. I would never talk crap about it. These are the stir shitters that we have a fucking problem with. People who want to jump in between streams to stir shit up and create a problem.
Yeah, well,
That's
Scott
the
from
problem.
Scott from Australia is another one. He was straight over.
Yep.
He was in here and then went straight over there. Oh, just one. Sorry, just off the track. Fizzy, I am not going anywhere near that cat comment you made earlier. Okay.
Your cat sounded adorable, by the way.
He's old now. He's about 14.
I love animals more than humans. That's why that whole dead dog thing kind of hurt really bad, to be blunt.
Yeah.
If anyone knew what I did, they would know why. I just absolutely adore animals more than humans, and you know, I'll always give a shit more about animals than I would be, for humans.
Yeah, any animal that doesn't trust a person, I'll believe the animal. Any person that doesn't trust an animal, I'm not going to have anything to do with them.
Ginger Snap starts a GoFundMe for her cat, saying she has no money, but I see her on different panels giving Josh and all those $10 all the time. Interesting.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hit the hay.
I'm going to be wrapping up soon, but I want to make sure I shine light on the instigators, the troublemakers. You know, you weren't attacking Brian at all. You were talking about Josh, correct?
Me?
Who, me?
You, yeah.
Who?
You.
DFK.
DFK. That's who this guy addressed in the chat, which got Brian and everyone to be fired up about it.
There was nothing that I said on this panel that was directed at Brian.
Exactly.
Not one thing.
Exactly. But
my direction was Josh.
But the fact that you're talking about Josh is now disrespect to the channel.
And now it kind of brings a question to mind. Does Josh own NNE now?
He's an administrator now.
Because he's like there all the time. It's kind of seeming like it's no longer Brian's channel.
But that's what he wanted. That's exactly what he wanted.
He's getting his subscribers up, and his main goal is to get more people watching than me. That's all he cares about, and he's on cloud 9 because of that. Not that maybe he hurt someone's feelings by calling them a predator, and mentioning their dead dog, and challenging them for 4 hours straight, and wondering why he's in a hospital room, and kind of reflecting on potentially losing his life. No, none of that.
Just to clarify, there's no issues between me and Brian. I have absolutely no issue with Brian. If he has anything with me, I don't know. He has not made mention of it, but I have no issues with Brian in and of himself.
Right. But I had to call that guy out because, Brian's sending people over here to take notes and spy and stir shit up and make things up to make me look bad. And that's essentially what's going on.
I was kind of wondering where I was coming from because you had made comments about that, and I'd seen no comments anywhere from Diamond Justice. It's like, well, what are you talking about? I guess my chat's blocking him or something.
That's why I shared it, because the chat was wondering too, because I got an email about it, and I'm like, wait a minute. And Brian, of course, is thinking you bashed him. Brian, of course, is going to believe whatever he's told because he's a naive motherfucker. And it would have been best for Brian to keep his mouth shut before he commented.
No, and if Brian's here watching in the background, because I know he does it, and Brian, if you're listening, hey, I got nothing against you. I got absolutely nothing against you. It's just Josh. And it was even asked of me while I was on this panel, or it was messaged to me by someone who's in your chat saying, "Come on the panel, come to NNE." It's like, no, I just don't. I don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "Oh, well, you're on Sancho." It's like, yeah, it's a Josh free zone. So it's nothing against you, Brian. It's just I don't want to deal with Josh right now. And that's exactly where it is. But on the bright side of my mother's passing, I know what my retirement's going to be. And I got to do some research on it, but I know what I'm going to do in retirement. When my father passed last year, him being military, his headstone was covered by the military. My mother was not military. My mother's funeral cost was, keeping it as reasonably priced as we could, was $5,096. That does not include the grave marker, headstone, however you describe them. And looking at those for my dad last year, $1,500 was pretty much the basement, and it just goes up from there. I could not see a piece of rock costing $1,500. So what makes them cost so much, I don't know. But people like me, I got to work my ass off for that. So that's an expense on top of what I got to pay for my mother's funeral. So
you're taking up stone masonry.
my retirement's going to be making grave markers and making them affordable. So people like me in this situation right now that have to have a job to live can actually afford a grave marker for their loved one and price them affordably so people like me in my situation can afford them. I am dumbfounded as to why they are so expensive.
You should try a kitchen tabletop for a granite kitchen tabletop. I'll tell you what, that costs a fucking fortune.
Well, it prompts me that tells me, hey, that's what I'm going to do with retirement. When I quit working, when I have to quit going working for somebody else, I got a shed out back. It's like 10 by 10, so it's big enough. I think it should be big enough to do this. I got to research and see what kind of equipment's needed, get a price for materials, but I'm sure there's got to be a huge markup in between the material cost and labor. I'm sure the labor has got to play a huge factor in that somehow, some way. But I swear to God, I can't see it. I just cannot see $1,500 for shit. A 12 by 24 piece of rock. I don't see it.
Well, it doesn't have to be granite. It could be limestone or sandstone or something like that. You could cut.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be comparable rock out there somewhere that is durable.
Divorce?
Sorry.
No.
So why can't the wife get the benefits that the husband got because he served?
Because when he served, they weren't married. They were not married until after. He served in World War II. My parents and him and my mother did not get married until '84.
Okay. Just one thing, DFK, I was thinking about a minute ago. One of the reasons Josh is taking over NNE's channel 2 is to cause as much havoc as he can. And if the channel gets shut down, he doesn't give a shit because it's not his channel.
Right.
This is a prime example. He does a poll and he wins the poll. He's the piece of shit of the week award. I got 8% of the votes, and it's probably him and Brian were the only votes.
So now here's a question, Sancho. Maybe you would know the answer to this. If it's Brian's channel and Josh is hosting, and something happens while Josh is hosting, and the channel gets sued, is Josh going to be liable for what comes out of that, or is he free and clear?
Great question. He's probably going to blame Josh because Brian thinks anyone who does prank calls is a predator, yet Josh does prank calls on Brian's channel. But Brian doesn't think Josh is a predator, though.
Maybe you misunderstood the question. If it's Brian's channel, like it is, and Josh is hosting the whatever day AFA broadcast, if something happens in that stream that causes a lawsuit, is Josh liable for that, or is it just come back on Brian because
wouldn't they both be, Morgie?
Sorry,
wouldn't they both be liable? The one who said it and what platform it was set on.
Well, NNE would be liable.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, NNE would be liable because he owns the channel. But if the actual content was AFA, he would be liable for the content. They would both actually be liable in one way or the other.
There you go. But he thinks he's scot-free, which is why every night he's doing karaoke, like every single night. And I was the first person to bring karaoke on to cheer Brian up because when I was administrator, which he claimed I never was, and I started a show by myself and letting everyone know that, hey, Brian's in the hospital, we did karaoke the whole night to be positive and to not go after Josh on his bullshit. And I gave Josh a pass to the following night that he no-showed. and we did karaoke. That got copyright strike beyond belief, and it hurts your channel. And you only get a certain amount of copyright strikes before your channel gets, shut down. And every single night they're doing karaoke, which is going to get Brian's channel shut down.
Just off topic a little bit. It's easier to do it this way than try and go through the chat. Hey Joker, I appreciate the concern. If it's possible for a cemetery to require headstones to be granite or nothing, I'm not aware of that. I was not aware that they could actually even do that. But if that's a real thing, then that could be an issue. But trying to type for the chat and listen to the panel, it's kind of confusing to me. But I don't want to disregard you and make you feel unimportant. But I appreciate the input, and yeah, it's something I got to do more research on. But yeah,
you just need to check around what the requirements are with your local sites. That's all.
Okay.
Hi, Beagles. Yes, Beagles says it's 3 strikes and shut down for 90 days. Thank you, Beagles.
Copyright strikes for music, because I was there 3 weeks ago when he got a copyright strike for playing music, and he's played music for like the past week and a half.
You can get it for a whole lot of stuff.
Is Brian's channel monetized?
Not yet. It has to be 1,000 subs, and then it gets monetized.
Okay, because I remember asking you about that before, and I remember you saying that if he's monetized, because it's all karaoke versions from what I've seen in the panels. It's all karaoke versions, and I did not think that karaoke versions could be copyrighted, because they're karaoke.
I got a copyright. Here's a pretty example. The CFW video that I played earlier. I played the "Why You Lying? Why You Always Lying?" I got copyright strike for that because it was like 20 seconds. So they're playing whole songs. Can you imagine the amount of copyright strikes they're getting playing whole songs if I got copyright strike for playing a 20-second song?
It takes someone reporting them to get it.
But if they're karaoke, how can karaoke be copyrighted? See, I don't understand. I understand if you play the actual radio version song, yeah, I can understand it because you've got the voices recorded on there. But karaoke versions, they don't have the words in there.
The instrumental they have.
The music itself is personal property.
It's copyrighted instrumentals.
Yeah. Well, not copyrighted. It's there's another phrase for it.
Even karaoke has to pay royalties on the copyright.
You know, like
I do remember
games.
Oh shit!
They have to pay a fee to play those soccer games.
Yeah, it's intellectual property.
It's like I remember a long time ago, like back in I can't remember when it was. I think it was Queen did a song, and the music was the music, and then another rap group decades later, made a song that was real similar, but the only difference was it contained a ding ding somewhere in the middle of the music. They were going after copyright infringement. It's like, no, because we have this added, so it's not the same.
Oh, that goes on all the time. That's not unusual. There's only so many notes, so you can only make so many.
Right.
There's only so much you can do. So you get a lot of over thing. The thing is that you've got to prove that it was actually written before somebody else put it out there.
So have we addressed everything we think we need to address on this 3-hour show, or is there anything that's on someone's mind that we haven't gotten out there yet?
No, Fizzy, I don't think it was Vanilla Ice with Ice Ice Baby. I'm pretty sure the original one was by Queen. That the original song was by Queen.
And David Bowie.
And somebody did a rap version, something with the same music later. I don't think it was Vanilla Ice, it's the later one, but I know the original one was
Vanilla
Queen.
Ice went to court. He got pulled into court by Queen and Bowie, and he won the case because he changed one note.
Okay. Yeah, I just remember that one being in there. Sorry, I'm on number 7 right now, so it's getting a little bit fuzzy.
There was almost a case of I guess copyright, if you want to call it that. There's another word for it I can't think offhand, between a rapper and Weird Al Yankovic. I think that was more just drama to sell more records than it was actually any court case. But the difference is he does parodies, and that is right on the edge of being legal. And and I don't know exactly whether you can get away with using the same music or whatnot, but there is a loophole in there for parodies.
Okay, and just going off of that, was Weird Al the one suing or the one being sued for the copyright?
He was the one being sued, but I don't think it went that far. I think they settled before it went to court.
That's where I was going with that. If Weird Al was the one that was suing because of a copyright infringement, it's like, wait a minute, you built your entire genre on basically copyright infringement.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, he makes a deal with the artist whose music he's using for his parody before he even publishes it. So that he has that legal agreement that, yeah, okay, I'll give you a tiny percent of my royalties from this record for using your music. And whereas karaoke doesn't exactly do that, it's more a question of you're still using the intellectual property that person has in that music to make money. And that's where it becomes illegal because you're making a profit off of their work
without paying them royalties. So you have to pay in order to use their music, you have to pay them some kind of royalty. So even if you're a parody, you still pay them a royalty for you still pay. You may not have to pay as much, but it's only 2% or something like that. But it's still, you still have to pay them a royalty.
Okay.
All right, guys. I greatly appreciate everyone's time tonight. I want to thank everyone for listening to El Sancho Live with the fantastic panelists. Open door invite for every one of you to hop back on.
Hey, Sancho, could I go on? I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry to interrupt. But can I go on record and saying, don't thank me for my time. Let me thank you for yours. Is that okay to do?
Sure.
Awesome. Hey, Sancho, thank you for your time, brother.
I appreciate your time as well. And I want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Click all notifications. Videos pop up randomly throughout the week. I'm doing my best to get some really good, solid interviews to entertain the hell out of you guys. And I want to thank everyone for listening tonight, and everyone have a great night and enjoy your weekend. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
NJ Diver, nice meeting you tonight, brother.
Yep, you have a good morning. And it's not just entertainment. You need to educate as well.
And Morgie, nice seeing you again. It's not the first time we've been on panel together, but nice seeing you again.
You too, DFK. Hope things are going better for you.
Yeah, my spirits are up. That's a real positive right now.
Yeah, I love your puppies too.
Oh, I love them and they love me.
I've noticed that. Okay.
Awesome, guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Good night, everybody.
Bye.